Long ago in a distant land, I, Kaido, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil. But a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose me. Before the final blow was struck, I tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future, where my evil is law. Now the fool seeks to return to the past and undo the future that is Kaido.
Gotta do that. Back to the past samurai jack. Watch out.
This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 539 for the week of Monday, October 1st, 2018. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
And on today's show, very special guest. Wait, he's not the translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump, but he is a writer for the official One Piece website, one-piece.com, and he is a columnist in V-Jump. He has also helped contribute to the awesome, I don't know if you'd call it a data book, but certainly collection book, Vivre Card. We have Greg on. How's it going, Greg?
Heyo, doing well. How's everything over in the States? It's cold yet? You hitting fall?
Nope. Still 90s.
Haven't put the shorts away yet.
I live in Southern California.
Go to hell.
Yeah. Seriously.
No,
you're already in Los Angeles.
I'm not bragging. I'm just stating the facts.
Greg, your introduction gets longer and longer every time you're on here. But we'll talk a little bit more about what you've been working on a little bit later. We also have on today's show Dennis. How's it going, Dennis?
Yeah, it's going okay. I'm still recovering from a trip since I got sick there, but still sound a lot better than I did last week.
Yeah, how was Japan? You were over in Japan.
It was a lot of fun. Spent way too much money. Bought a lot of One Piece stuff, which is great. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about the Shonen Jump exhibit, Volume 3, for the 50th anniversary on a future episode with Kelly.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll have you and Kelly next time the manga takes a break. We'll talk a little bit about that. Today we're going to go through chapter 919, which may bend your mind and your brain. The ruins of
bending.
Thank you. There you go. The ruins of Odin Castle. We also have an anime recap. Ed, do you happen to know what episode that's for?
Nope.
Cool.
It was an alright episode.
We also have what happened in it, or basically?
It's almost time for Katakuri snack time.
Okay, that would be better than Toei's title, I assume.
So I can tell you what happened in next week's episode.
Thank you for that. We also have Piece Together, trivia, and more. Before we get into things, and this was an announcement from Greg's Twitter account, is where I found this information. We've been talking about it for weeks. The 4th volume of the One Piece magazine's coming out on October 19th. Is there anything to be said about it? Although I saw the cover, I think, came out. But Greg, do you know...
I was just going to say they seem to be following the Admiral's color scheme. There was red, yellow, blue for the first, and Fuji or purple for the 4th one.
I mean, Greg, is there anything else known about it?
So you got a couple things in there. You have, of course, Oda drew the cover. There's also a campaign where Oda is going to draw a panel that you want him to draw. Is the contest? They call it the Dream Panel or the Dream Image. And I think he already drew one for this, but they're going to have a contest for submissions, I think, in this magazine, which makes it sound like there might be future installments of this as well.
Ace Law and Sabo doing something somewhere, I assume.
Don't know. You have to buy it and find out. But they say there are some. There's also a law novel. So last time we had the Ace novel that was included as part of it. And this time we'll have a law novel, which will no doubt be released at a later date in book form, in POG form. And maybe some surprises. I don't know. You'll have to find out.
I legitimately don't know what that is. We also... You also said that there's going to be a 4-part video coming out about that figure you helped design.
Yeah, that little figure I designed that's going to be in an arcade in every single arcade in Japan. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're listening and you have no idea what's going on, I designed a Luffy figure with the good folks at Banpresto and some other big One Piece fans like Takashi and One Piece Kun. Project was led up by Koyaki, who's becoming a big One Piece figure YouTuber over in Japan. And last December, almost a year ago, we started working on this. We sat down, had a couple meetings, designed out Luffy, and a year from the start, it's going to be available, just under a year. On October 18th, it will be released. Some people have already ordered it online. I don't know how you do that because these things are not actually sold to direct outlets. So however you're getting that, I don't want to know, but I'm glad you got it. Like I said, you will be able to find them in arcade centers across Japan from October 18th. It's the Luffy wearing the three hats, the Sabo ace, and of course his straw hat. And it was the process was documented, filmed, and that's been broken into 4 parts, and they'll be made available on OnePiece.com, and I believe through one of the official One Piece YouTube accounts. I'm not sure which one, whether it's Toei or otherwise. I don't think it's Toei. Maybe it's even Koyaki's channel himself proper, but they'll be made available starting, I don't know when that is. I think it's like next week or so. And I think they go like one day after another. So you can see me in that. Of course, they're in Japanese, but if you're just, they're interesting videos to watch. They're not too long. I think you might enjoy them. And it was just revealed yesterday that next spring, it appears that there has been a second collaboration with these One Piece maniacs for a special One Piece figure, and it seems that they're going to be creating an ace. So look forward to that.
These mysterious individuals. I don't know if we've had you on since Takashi got his own, became the official YouTuber for One Piece.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been quite some time.
Yeah. I know you were, that was a big deal. You were on that a few times, I think, since he became the official One Piece YouTuber. I don't know if there's anything.
Did I tell you Oda's line? It was hilarious. So I used a drone in the video. There's a video that YouTubers made to congratulate Takashi for it, and I had a buddy who has a drone. I have a buddy who has a drone, and we went out. We did some work with it. We got a shot in there, and Otis saw the video, and he lined me. He was like, "Greg, that was freaking awesome." So that was cool. It was like yes moment. Yeah, that was fun.
That's really cool.
Very, very happy for Takashi.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you go legit.
Yeah. So there's some other little news as well. If you're going to be at New York Comic Con, which takes place, believe it or not, in New York City, they are doing a One Piece cafe at Friedman's. It's at 450 10th Avenue, and it happens on October 5th from 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. and October 6th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. So check that out if you haven't. It is actually I think this is the first year in a long time I will actually not be in the New York area during New York Comic Con, because that's how my luck works out. So I will not be there. Steve, are you going to be in New York during that weekend? No, right?
New York Comic Con?
Yeah.
No.
You're going to be at Anime NYC.
Yes.
Yes, I was just confirming. Okay, so that's going to be happening. Make it out there if you can, though. Show your One Piece love. You definitely... I think the more One Piece is out there, the more Funimation knows that there's people out there who like it. And last but certainly not least, did you miss Dressrosa? Why?
Yeah, sure I did.
The One Piece read-through is coming back on October the 12th with all new episodes. That's every Friday from October 12th through November 2nd. We're doing 2 episodes for Dressrosa. The first covering the end of Volume 70 through the middle of Volume 75 when the birdcage appears. And October 19th, the rest of it. That's 75 through 80. Then we're going to do Zoe on October 26th, which, especially with what we're talking about this week, I think is going to be a lot of fun. And on November 2nd, we're going to do Whole Cake Island again. So look forward to all of that. Are you guys excited for that?
Yeah, I am.
And ready.
Yeah,
I'm not
I've
ready.
been enjoying the first part of Dressrosa so far.
Yeah, the first half has been very good. I'm very nervous. I just finished the first half today, and I'm very nervous about the second half. So we'll see. We'll see if time has healed some wounds. Yeah, so that's going to be about it. Let's get into this manga chapter. Let's go back and do it.
Hey, yeah, good
right.
idea.
In time, that is.
This is the manga recap for chapter 919, The Ruins of Odin Castle. Ed, we're on the final chapter of the saga, so I'm sure this is the last one here. I'm sure we're done with it now.
Ah, yes, it's the the saga of the self-proclaimed Straw Hat Fleet, Volume 46, final chapter. Pleased to meet your acquaintance, Part 2. I think we've got at least 2 more parts left, right?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
least
how many
one.
have we had? We had 3 on the last one and 4 on this one. So we're
Well,
done?
to
7.
elaborate on it, it says, I believe it says first half in the previous one and second half in the next one. So it seems like this is the end.
Oh, good.
You
We're
know,
done here, pal.
Thank God.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, and that's not the letter H on Idio's flag. That's his arms.
Good point. Also, for Olympus's flag, what used to come out of that? I'm guessing it wasn't a skull and crossbones. I'm trying to remember.
I think it was just the egg. Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh.
what came first, the skeleton or the egg?
We're up
Don't
to-
write
The
that
egg.
down. We're not naming the damn
No, I'm
episode
writing it
after
down. How many Olympus
Olympus.
episodes can we have?
Olympus, the hillbilly Jim of cover stories. Get out of here.
Okay. Yeah, that's just. Unless you guys have anything else you want to say about that, Ed, I think we could get into it.
Sure. We start off the chapter. Take us away, Horse Selena. No, I'm actually Speed, headliner of the Animal Kingdom Pirates. I do not owe you any favors. And I guess that's... So someone's thinking, why is Speed following that kid's orders? But Speed continues, it's natural for a servant to protect her master. And Tama is just sitting on the back of Speed looking so cute, holding her big shiny apple.
This is adorable. I love this. This is a great drawing.
And like the centaurs of old, she is carrying her bow and arrow. It's very it's a very stereotypical centaur weapon.
It's odd that it's a Western bow and arrow, right? You'd think it would be like more like a Kyudo
Mhm.
style, but
Yeah. Well, I guess it makes sense since I'm assuming Kaido and his headliners, just judging by their looks, are not natives of Wano.
they're not natives. But you'd think. I mean, we'll see somebody eventually, but you'd think it'd be an unbalanced bow. Interesting fact: the Japanese Kyudo bows are the only bows in the world that are unbalanced.
Huh. Why is that?
Yeah, how they're shaped.
I don't know
Top
why
heavy.
it is. They just are. But yeah, the top is longer than the bottom half of it. You look at them; they look kind of off, and they're the only ones in the world like that.
Wow.
Now you know.
Yeah, that's.
Knowing half the battle.
What's next?
All right. Tama begins, Big bro, between the Oshiriko and the apples, I'll never forget the flavors I tasted today. I saved this apple for the master. And Luffy says to say hi to the nose Gramps for him, and I'll come back to return the dog to you too. And he does
Referring to
ask her
Hitetsu, right? That's the
No. Kumuchio.
No, Hitetsu being the nose Gramps.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But he does ask to let him borrow the sword a little bit longer because he's got to be a samurai. He can't be a samurai without a katana. Zoro is correctly pointing out you didn't even use it. Seriously, just let me see the sword.
He punched someone while holding it. If that's not using it, I could. Well, okay, there's other ways.
I love his tone here. He's like, just let me see the sword.
I thought Zoro was kind of saying it in a tone of, "Hey, let me see that sword. So, have I seen this sword before? You look familiar."
Oh, that would be
I'm
more
sorry.
like,
Maybe I'm thinking of another sword. I apologize.
Maybe.
Let me see the sword.
That's what I was thinking.
Man, it looks
But-
so cool. I don't
Your
even
best
have one.
friend.
I don't have one like it at all.
Not at all.
You're not even
Oh,
using
you're
it
mean.
right. You're doing it wrong.
Luffy Taro, Mom said it's my turn to see the sword.
Noah.
Okay, I'm cutting it off here.
So Speed gallops off, and not more gallops. She more runs like a human from the waist up, which is kind of funny. And they say
Leaving
so
the
long.
Rebel Alliance behind her.
They say so long to Tama. Kumachio woofs his good farewells, and Luffy's looking very happy. So Luffy talks to Kumachio and he says, "Let's go. I guess you didn't get turned into a servant by dumplings, huh?" And that's interesting. It almost seems like the power wears off or something.
No, they're just saying that he, I guess, was just a pet of hers to begin with, and not.
No.
Well,
Okay.
I guess they're assuming that he would have just followed Tama instead if it
Right,
were.
yeah.
I assume that's what they mean.
It's because he's a good boy.
he's the best boy. We go to the
And
next. Go ahead.
Luffy is confronted by some small children.
Yeah, and the small children and the rest of the town thank him for the treasure barge, and we see all the townspeople who were just briefly ago about to commit suicide and kill their own children, throwing food wastefully into the air, jumping and dancing, and one meal will do it. Yeah, this
Fish
is
is still really happy.
they are.
Just curious, did Stephen go into what that whole treasure barge was, like the history of it?
I don't think so, but I wasn't here last week, but I
No,
listened.
I don't think
but
you did.
I don't think
No.
you
If
did.
it has like folklore significance.
Yes, it does. It's actually a ship that the seven gods of luck ride in. They call them the seven Japanese gods of luck, but they're actually, if you look into their history, they're from all around the world. They're from like India and China, and if you look into them, they're called interestingly enough, not the Shichibukai, but the Shichifukujin. And that's basically their ship. They ride in that, and they all have different forms of luck, and that's what that was supposed to represent.
Well, I want to talk about the Shichi Fukujin.
I also noticed that woman kind of toward the left has a similar-ish pattern to Luffy. I've been seeing that in a whole bunch of places, including the Kozuki clan logo, I think. Yeah, any other townspeople you guys want to talk about, or good? Okay.
I don't know. One last memory before I kick the bucket. That's kind of like grim.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, so yeah, the kids are happy that they've never seen a feast like this before. Now that they're having it. But the grandfather is okay with his mortality, and that's very important. But his granddaughter was happy just that he's lively again, even though his imminent.
Yeah, when I die, poop will come out.
Okay, we're gonna move on from that panel. And his baby is already feeling better, and it's flowing.
Stabbed last chapter.
What babe?
Thank God.
Oh yeah, that is the baby that was gonna. No, that was a kid. I think that was.
What is it?
It was a baby.
Yeah,
The baby with the power.
Someone. Anyway, Law here hates nice things and people being happy, and he's so mad and pouty about it. Look at him being pouty.
Being a
Law,
real
shut up.
Scrooge right there.
He's like me at Christmas.
Law, we brought something on the food barge for you. It's a big tall glass of shut up juice.
It's a big box of bread.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say a big tall glass of bread, like beer.
This actually, I thought this was so comically lame. But I guess it does kind of play into Law's character, because Law wasn't about saving the kingdom of Dressrosa. He was just getting back at Doflamingo. So he's not necessarily.
He's been incidentally helping people for the last 3 or 4 arcs. Yeah,
he's
He's
incidentally.
also the guy who stole 100 hearts from 100 pirates and became a warlord.
yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Kind of like he stole ours.
Yeah.
He did.
Not mine.
But
Not mine.
He fixed up all of those kids on Punk Hazard, though.
Well,
when you think about it, because I thought about, well, why did he save Luffy? But that kind of plays into the whole Will D thing. So I think, yeah.
There's also a doctor.
Yeah. This makes sense for Law. I don't want to rag on the dude.
I mean, Steve, for me, this joke is kind of in service of the one that follows in that same panel that Luffy was like, oh, yeah, that was a nice thing we did. And Okiku says, oh, that you did just rob a bunch of people, right? So
They're bad guys.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think it was in service of that joke. And Law is kind of just grinchy anyway. I think it fits his character. Luffy waves goodbye to everyone, doing his typical Luffy wave. And we set off on the next adventure, on top of Kumachio. So, I guess this is Law asking, so why are you tagging along, to Okiku? And her in her polite way said, look, I've just always really wanted to see Odin Castle. I heard the ruins were just lovely this time of year. Anyway, I
love how she speaks like that Dragon Quest character. This one would love to tour through the blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, I'm just playing Dragon Quest 11, and there's also like a this one is not capable of doing such a thing.
Oh, the governor wants to go to the ruins too. I've only played Dragon Quest 8. That's all I know.
Blimey.
Now I'm gonna just imagine Okiku with a really bad Cockney accent.
Oh, you going to the ruins, you are.
Always wanted to see Odin Castle.
Well, now I know what it sounds like when you all speak in Cockney accents at the same time.
Fancy a drink, governor?
I think she speaks in a Kickney accent.
So here's the thing. Yeah. I'm vetoing giving Okiku any sort of voice because this is going to be a long arc, and it's going to be super exhausting. We're going to be doing Cockney accents. We're going to lose listeners.
But I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she sounds like a woman.
I don't know. I still do the Tontada voice even when I'm doing the read-through.
Yeah, when I read it, I'm reading it in Ed's voice, the Tontada. But it's so Cockney Okiku is just wondering why they're going to the empty ruins of the castle. And she's also wondering why, saying that Luffy Taro and his friends, they're good, but I don't know if they could be trusted yet. And this is and Okiku finally starts speaking out loud instead of in hushed tones to herself, saying, "There'll be no trouble. This one can return home alone if possible." Which is not something I would do in New York City at late hours. Anyway, Luffy saying that's just fine. Kiku's just fine. She's tough. She'll be all right. And so I was like, nah, she's hiding something. I could tell. And Steve.
Oh, Kiku kind of looks at Zoro like, crap. But meanwhile, at the flower capital, we hear a woman saying, now, can anyone tell me what a closed nation is?
Yes, teacher. It means closing the entrances to the country to protect the nation's peace.
That's right. And what is an open nation? Ooh, me, as a classroom of little kids are all eager to answer this very easy question. But then again, they're kids. I don't think I knew what an open nation was back then. So anyway, the next...
No, this is propaganda also, so keep that in mind, Steve. Don't...
Well, so is public school. So.
Wow.
And then this next child says,
it's very bad that when you let people and ideas that are harmful into the nation, countries from across the sea desire to take many things from Wano. And the teacher says, but in the past, there were fools who attempted to do such a thing. And all the kids just yell out, says, Odin, the Akazaya 9. And then her neck works and stretches out. And she shows us just how snake-like she can be.
Very nice.
That's
she's a Dokurobi, right? Or Rokurokubi? Is that the... Yep. It's a yokai. A type of yokai that comes in two forms, either a snake-like neck like that, or I've seen this in a lot of movies where the head just pops off and flies in whatever direction it wants.
Oh. Thank you. But
yeah, so probably devil fruit user and snake. Probably a snake. God, a lot of the devil fruit users, I think, instead of getting straight up yokai, we're getting devil fruit users that seem like they could be misinterpreted or interpreted another way as yokai. Kind of like with the baboon, who was also introduced as a yokai, but turned out to just be a massive baboon.
Right.
So is she not a Smile Devil Fruit user? You think this is legit?
That's a good question.
I don't think so, because they usually have animal parts grafted onto their human body. Doesn't change their human body usually.
I think, she's been in a very important position. I think she might be a full-on, but you never know. That's a good point.
I think it'd be interesting if, like, the top brass of Under the Shogun, they're all snake users. Like He-Man versus the Snake Man.
Well, I mean, and also, don't snakes usually work for dragons? Isn't that how that works?
Well, if Harry Potter and is any sign, then sometimes, or vice versa, actually. But,
Captain America and the Serpent Society.
Right.
Yeah, Steve, continue.
Forgot that was a.
So Professor Snake has had enough of this interruption. She says, turn to page 30. No. She says, now, I didn't ask for the answer. And they're like, eek! There she goes. She's like, no one wants to hear that name. Because someone erased it from the archive memories. And she hisses and says, but that was 20 years ago. Our hero vanquished those bad samurai already. As the boy's eyes gleam, it's almost like she just said giant robot in the classroom. But all the kids yell out, Shogun Kurozumi Orochi, as one kid takes a couple rulers and starts to reenact probably some katana stuff. And his nickname is Orochi, the Two-Sided, or...
It doesn't seem like a good thing.
Or Orochi Two-Face. Say it!
Rachel!
And the child with the rulers smacks the chubby one and says, Hiya! And the chubby one says, Ow! I've been vanquished! And she says... And Professor Snake continues. She says, that's right. All the bad guys died 20 years ago. And now Wano is healthy and peaceful. And there's no corruption in our government whatsoever.
I wouldn't lie to you.
So this tells us that Orochi is probably a two-sword user, because that's what he seems to be mimicking there. Yeah. And also I just was wondering, because his name is Orochi, I do wonder if maybe like this whole teacher, this person here, I mean, this is a crazy idea, but like, what if she's actually one of Orochi's heads? Like, what if Orochi is Orochi and has the multiple heads? And what if he's able to put them everywhere, and this is just one of those heads?
What if there's just a bunch of underground tunnels, just these heads? Hold on, someone came in the library.
I like that idea. That's pretty cool. That would definitely fit with the theme too. So Stephen had a couple notes since he couldn't be here tonight about these particular pages. So the Akazaya 9, he said it's not written entirely in kanji, so can be positive, but most likely means red scabbards. Hard to say if that would literally refer to the characters wearing red scabbards, or if it's more figurative, or even some Rakugo reference or something. But he chose to not translate it because he liked the rhythm of how it sounded in Japanese. And as Greg mentioned, Orochi the Two-Sided probably refers to a particular sword style. But he said the choice of kanji is unconventional and doesn't immediately summon a mental image. So we'll see how that pans out.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, you could go ahead to the next page.
Thank you,
right.
Stephen.
You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. All right. Meanwhile, we have we're still in the Flora capital, and you hear a Shogun Orochi sure is a coward. And we hear Kyoshiro, you speak too loudly. Ah, shut up, you jackass. Don't be a wimp. So what if anyone hears? It's only the truth. Standing before his burning castle in her dying moments 20 years ago, Odin's wife spoke thus. And we see who Joey referred to in a tweet as possibly Zoro's opponent. This is the Korozumi clan's money changer, Napping Kyoshiro. We see he's got a lackey whom he is talking to as he's getting drunk off his sake. I love his pomp, by the way. He has a really sweet pompadour / top knot.
What is a money changer?
Well,
it's someone who exchanges money. I mean, isn't that what Jesus overthrew at the temple? Like changing the Roman coins for Israeli coins or whatever?
Did you forget I'm Jewish?
Zach, that's a pretty important story.
So I think it might have something to do with being the go-between when it comes to, I don't know, paying what do you call it? Like paying the tribute to the shogun, but I'm not completely sure.
But yeah, it's fucked up how that pompadour is actually his top knot.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I completely did not notice it until you mentioned that. I knew something was up with it, but
it looks like someone from those Danganronpa and whatever games. I don't know. I don't play those. Someone has a pompadour in that. Dennis, help.
He's like a Yankee, but he's lost in time.
He's like a local Denasi Blues guy.
Yeah.
I do love the really stupid face on his crony. Like, I shouldn't drink so much. Oh.
I sure hope he narrates a fight if there's a fight with this dude.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be Speedwagon.
So he says, so in her dying moments, Odin's wife spoke thus: "You are the moon unaware of the dawn. May your purpose be fulfilled, and cast 9 shadows on the night woven of 20 years, and you shall know the brilliance of the dawn." As you see a figure who's engulfed in flames, meant to be Odin's wife. And we see Nico Robin and her, I guess, geisha mentor playing the shamisen and dancing.
She's doing the fan dance.
Yeah. She's, as we all suspected, working her way up so that she can see the shogun, get some more intel. And in referring, of course, to this story, Kyoshiro says, "Just a simple curse, a bunch of sour grapes. And do you know how Shogun Orochi interpreted this?" And he just passes out. Not unlike Ace's narcolepsy tendencies.
Remember that?
Yeah, remember that, Membo? How did he interpret it? Says his flunky as Nico Robin listens with open ears. "Oh, right, like this. On a night 20 years later, 9 samurai ghosts will emerge to kill you and fulfill their vengeance, so they can open Wano's borders. For political reasons only." And it's been exactly 20 years since then. And he's clearly scaring the crap out of his crony like it is some childish ghost story. And of course, he falls back in his stupor and laughs a gyahaha. "Verily, Shogun Orochi is terrified. He trembles in fear at the ghosts of the Kozuki clan coming to kill him at any moment." I'd love to see that one play out. What can the dead actually do? He drove all of the Kozuki samurai into the castle 20 years ago and burned them all alive.
Alex seems
look at that sword.
Happy about
that
it.
was great.
Look at that sword hilt. Look at that sword hilt. That's awesome.
It's it's pretty as far as sword hilts go in One Piece, it's pretty simple, which I like. I think this is great. He's serving as a really great expository character, and one of our heroes is getting all the info as well that she needs. So.
And since we're doing a lot of read-throughs, I'm like paying more attention. Like, oh, we're gonna get a flashback at some point in this arc, and seeing all the little details, especially in this chapter, that are just being like kind of breadcrumbed throughout. Specifically, this last sentence here. Anyway,
of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, Zach. Of course, even though it was only a metaphor, or is it a simile? No, it's a metaphor.
Metaphor.
The moon is mentioned. Whoa.
Or potentially allegory, you know. Well, I think Kozuki uses the word night in it too. Didn't we say something like that a while back, or no?
Well, Kozuki The name Kozuki has moon in it. It's light of the moon.
Oh, right, yeah. I remember now being extremely excited talking about this way back in Zoe when you were on for X Marks the Spot like 10 years ago or something. Ed.
And also, wasn't Zoro from Crescent Moon Village?
Look, let's not think about the moon too much.
He's from Shimotsuki Village, or we don't know if he's from there, but that's where he trained.
Right.
And that's Frost Moon Village, which also means November. So.
And don't forget the Crescent Moon Pirates were the Crescent Pirates were the big antagonists in one of the Romance Dawn pilots. So, Moon, Ed.
Yeah.
And,
wow. I guess that means Higuma the Bear is coming back in a big way.
Get out of here.
He was the villain of the first chapter.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't tell that to past Steve. Remember my whole story when how I thought he was Crocodile?
Yes, Ed.
I know, but thank you for reminding me. And we're here. Here being Kuri, Wano, ruins of Odin Castle. Only there's no castle. I told you they were ruins. On a sadder note, Okiku has to turn away as it looks like she's about to start crying. She runs away, and Luffy's like, "Hey, what's going on, Okiku? What's up with her?" And Zoro ran off somewhere too. So the last time we saw Zoro, he was just sitting on the back of the dog, and in between those pages, he got off somewhere. So
he got lost. Yeah,
get lost riding a dog. Law's already disembarked. He's quite a ways away. He says, "Over here, Straw Hat." And Luffy doesn't want to be left behind because this place is kind of creepy. And so Law just keeps deadpanning. Yeah, 20 years without visitors will do that. And so they're at that graveyard that we saw in the last chapter. Raizo, Momo, Kinemon, Kanjuro. And Luffy's like, "Oh, what's this? Why do they have graves? They dead? It reminds me. Couldn't get in touch with them. They died?" I added that last part.
Those are fresh graves, Luffy.
Yeah, that's
Dennis.
Yeah.
And then Luffy's wondering, where's Kinemon? I thought he was going to be waiting here. And Law is acting kind of morbid. I guess it's fitting for the season right now. Like, he's gone. He's been gone for a while. Gone? What do you mean? But you might see him at night. He came out in the dead of night yesterday. And Luffy's pretty worried. Like, you're sounding like he's a ghost or something. Why does he have a grave here? And Luffy wants more explanations. Like, just be clear about it. Spit out the truth already. Is there some painful truth you're having trouble to admit to me?
Love that line.
Law's going, I really shouldn't be telling you about this. And then you see a shambling figure in the background. Oh, what a day, what a day. I was afraid I wouldn't leave the privy until nightfall again. And Luffy's still wondering what's going on. Are they really alive? Tell me. And we see this very sickly figure coming out going, I think I have stabilized that. Oh, Sir Luffy, you have completed your journey. Forgive me for not welcoming you here. And you see Foxfire, Kinemon. I'm afraid I've been struck with violent stomach outbursts. Rumble, rumble, rumble. And looks like he's got a case. Yeah, he's got a very bad case. Someone get this guy some Pepto-Bismol.
So the joke here is that Oda's been using beren. I don't know. I'm sure Steven has gone into this, right?
Oh yeah.
For all the, instead of dodon,
Yeah.
it's all beben. And ben is the Japanese word for toilet, going to the toilet. It's the benjo.
Yeah.
So the kanji here is just ben, which means toilet.
It's so good. Like, I love it so much. You know me, love a good poop joke.
If they had to do English sound effects for this, I wonder if they just add like flush or something like that. But Luffy's glad that Kinemon's there. Like, Kin, I'm so glad to see you. So he is alive after all, Traffy. And Law's like, when did I say he was dead?
If you call that alive.
I know, right? I said he might come out of the bathroom by tonight. Luffy is lost with that, or pretty upset with that explanation. Like, you don't have to be so misleading about it. And then with a kashuf, someone comes rushing through, and who goes there?
I think it's funny that for once Luffy is on the receiving end of this. Like he's that face he's making. Nami's making that face at him all the time.
True.
It's like that scene in the third Christopher Nolan Batman movie. It's like, I always wondered what that was like. And we find out that Batman talks that way even when he's by himself.
Ugh.
Yeah, you never know who's watching in Gotham City.
Steve.
So, we're greeted with a big old, Master Keen hug from Okiku to Kinemon. They know each other. It's a really adorable drawing.
Gabba glomp, gabba goo.
Oh my god.
Gabba gabba glump.
Gabba gabba glump.
Oh boy.
I want some gabba glump. I want some
We ain't
gabba
got
glump
no-
and some mozzarella.
We ain't got no gabba glump. So shut the fuck. So, anyway, Dwa as Kinemon gets glomped by
No, Kiku gets infected. Ugh.
Yeah, Kinemon gets glomped by Okiku. She says, "You finally returned. Oh, how this one has waited for you on pins and needles. 2 hearts." Well, in total, she has sent 5 hearts via text. So maybe there's something going on here.
In just one panel.
Well, if you include the sound effect, it's 6.
Ask her out.
I think she likes you.
No. So anyway, Kinemon is like, Kiku, what are you doing with them?
No, you're reading that wrong. Kiku, what are you doing with them? I think that's...
What are you doing with them?
A lot of ways you could take that.
And
What are
she
you
kind of...
doing?
She kind of lets out a little cloud, or just like a little slightly pissed little steam cloud. She's just like, why did you not inform me that you had returned? So much worry could have been avoided. So cold. She says, Lord Momonosuke still well? And Luffy's like, oh, what? You guys know each other or something? And then Law says, I think it's a little more than that, bud.
He's so
At least-
snarky.
Hubba hubba.
At least Law can read the room.
Imagining Law making those sound effects do make me really happy. Go ahead.
And Okiku has a really great expression right here, like it's like, how silly of me face. She's awesome, but she says it's like, huh, Master Kin? Then these people are then that means, not really what she says. It's like, and Kinemon's like, I don't know who to tell whom first, but yes, these are the powerful helpers I have recruited. And then we have Momonosuke Weesing.
How did he get there? Okay, I guess we'll find out at some point. But how? Go ahead.
How did it get burned? What?
No, how did Momonosuke get there in the first place?
He obviously just by the power of speed lines, he just slid over there. And he says,
It's like
Luffy!
It's a One Piece opening. They're just going to slide in with one.
Hey, Luffy's at least asking the right questions.
He is.
Yeah.
Momonosuke is delighted to see Luffy's return, and he's just like, witness, I've been practicing my sick-ass blade moves. Hi-ya. Hi-ya.
Well, you were out partying. I was practicing the blade.
Even though I don't really need to because my hands are registered as weapons.
No one's are. Luffy says, oh, hey, Momo, you guys are here too. Even the dog guy? Dogstorm, obviously.
Yeah, that's the question that I want to know the answer to.
We'll find out. And Okiku
No, we won't.
says, huh? And Okiku continues to speak with cool like emoji effects around her. This time she's talking like an Animal Crossing character with those lines, and she says, "Oh, Lord Momonosuke, it's good to see you well." While Momonosuke is practicing his sword plays, like, "Indeed, salutations, Kiku. Check it out." I call this a slash. But then Okiku realizes, she says, "Wait, Momo, Luffy Taro, that is very rude. This is," and Momonosuke says, "It's fine, Kiku." He's continuing to practice, and we hear a, "Hey, look, it's Luffy. Luffy, I'm so glad you're well. It's
Nipples.
Let me get to it, man." And it's the stars of the Whole Cake Island arc finally reunited. It's Brooke, Carrot, Reindeer Chopper, Nami, and Big Shirtless San.
And Pedro. Wait, never mind.
Oh, come on.
And Jim, no, he's not there either.
I have many questions. Why Sanji's not wearing a shirt?
Well, that comes up later.
But you know what? Let's just worry about that later. Let's just let this moment be a moment, right?
I like Brooke's dance here. It's just to move away from Sanji's shirtless body for 1 second.
I think
here.
he's just strutting. He's just like, "Sup, it's me, Brooke."
Brooke's walking like he's part of a Cromartie High School or something.
Yeah. I think Brooks is doing the swagger, like, "Hey, remember me? Everyone thought I was gonna do something cool in Whole Cake Island. I did trace, those poneglyphs, but if you thought I had a connection with the Vinsmoke family, nah."
Wow.
Go back and listen to old episodes. We had a lot of theories.
I like how we're kind of getting a reintroduction of the characters we've been with, like, for basically the last 100 chapters. But we still haven't seen, the others. Anyway, Greg, you want to finish us off?
Back in Wano form. Well, not
So
yet.
this is really big because we're seeing a reuniting of characters that we haven't seen for a long time finally joining up.
Except for Zoro.
We've got you killed it, Ed.
I'm sorry.
You killed it. I was gonna say we got Brooke, we got Nami, Chopper, Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro, and no Zoro. Where is Zoro? Right. So they're just talking a little bit about their trials and tribulations trying to find Luffy. Why do we have shirtless Sanji, which I'm sure Maddie is over the moon for? He has shirtless Sanji because he was going to the bottom of the sea to look for Luffy. And of course, Sanji can do it because he can kick like a mofo. And they found his Vivid card, so they know that he was okay. By the way, Vivid card in stores now. My name is on it. We check in with Law, and there's some more poop jokes. And Law comments. I was like, enough with the poop jokes until Law actually comments on the fact that there are so many poop jokes, and that was great. Like, that kind of redeemed him for the chapter for me, so that was great. Who doesn't around here?
I also like poop jokes. Maybe I'm partial to that, but okay.
I mean, they've been eating and drinking like contaminated stuff, right? That's
They basically have Montezuma's revenge all the time.
Momonosuke's revenge.
Momonosuke's revenge.
Damn it, that is it. That's it. Momonosuke's revenge.
Good one.
So we find them discussing their planning, or maybe we're going to find out some of their history in the ruins of Oden Castle. And Luffy, being as frank as always, says, "This place is filthy. Never mind that you and your family were probably burned alive here. But that's typical Luffy, and this is probably the place where we saw them in a flashback in the Wano introduction chapter. You saw them in a very rundown location that was probably here in Oden Castle. Kinemon introduces it as the base of operations and says, "First things first. In addition to the prior issue of Lord Momonosuke's identity, I must admit another secret I have kept from you." And Luffy, voicing the opinions and thoughts of every One Piece reader in the history of the universe, says, "What's with you guys and all these secrets? Just tell us all you can already. Trust us."
He's been doing that all chapter.
Yes. Luffy's been on point this chapter. Pretty good.
Who's Luffy Taro? He's slightly smarter and a hero.
Is that top knot? Top knot gives you brains.
The top notch.
Top notch. It sounds like an achievement trophy and something. The five of us in total, we three sitting here, and Kanjiro and Raizo, whom you knew well, who I'm mentioning Mika's exposition, are in fact people who belong to the past. Huh? And I'll read this verbatim. Kinemon says, as a matter of fact, we crossed through time to arrive here from the Wano of 20 years ago.
Missed opportunity for a fart joke at the end there. I mean, they took every other opportunity.
That's a very serious face. He's already making it's a very serious face, and he's already making it on the previous page at the bottom there when Luffy's like making fun of the burnt down castle.
Oh yeah. What's Book doing in that panel, by the way? He's mad at Momonosuke, it looks like. For getting all up on Nanami's cleave. Maybe.
Yeah, that running joke. Yeah, probably.
Yep, that's what he's doing in the first panel there at the top.
Yeah, so big bombshell at the end of this. Let's start.
Don't say. This is like the most ridiculous bombshell I think that like there are things that you don't like theorize about in One Piece because there's no time travel in One Piece. Now there's time travel in One Piece, so we got to recalibrate a lot of our expectations.
I got time travel in my One Piece.
Yeah! Well, here's the thing about time.
Gabagoo!
Like, if you crossed in time from 20 years ago, then, I mean, yes, that can happen. It's called aging. I time traveled. It just took me a really long time.
Does that mean Momonosuke is not a child? He's just that old dwarf from The Simpsons? he's getting my medical bracelet.
But this does explain how Momonosuke saw his father's death, right?
It explains a lot of things. I also should apologize for last week or 2 weeks ago where I dismissed this concept out of hand. So look, but I think I also may have been one of the ones to mention all the weird discrepancies back in Zoe with the ages and how it kind of didn't make any sense. Who knows? Anyway, let's talk about this and the chapter and what we think and why we think it. Let's start with Alex. You haven't been on quite as much recently, so I'd like to hear from you.
Oh wow. Yeah, I thought this was a really great chapter. My favorite part about it, I think, was taking the cliffhanger from last week and turning it into a huge poop joke. Boy, did I love that. Let's see where to begin, where to start, or where to begin. So I'm just gonna go pretty quick through it. I thought this was a really good chapter, especially in terms of getting some info out there as to the history of Wano. I think we're probably going to be getting a flashback as to what really went down pretty soon, given Oda's penchant for setting stuff up with information dumps like this. Like I said, really love Kiyoshiro's cool pomp top knot. I wonder if he's named after Sasaki Kojiro, the rival of Miyamoto Musashi. That gave me pause a little bit. I think it's cool that Robin is collecting some info out on her own. Yeah, so I have theories as to what the time travel thing is. I was looking up online to see if there's any Japanese folklore in regards to time travel, and the only thing that I can come up with is in regards to the story of Urashima Taro, which I think we talked about during Fishman Island, because there's a lot of elements from that particular story that show up in Fishman Island, specifically Queen Otohime, Ryogu Palace, the Tamate Box, pretty much everything. But that's the only example of time travel that I can find in Japanese folklore. Yeah, I'm assuming it's a fruit user, I guess. Maybe Mrs. Odin sent them forward in time or something like that before she died. I don't know. I don't have much to say that I hadn't said already, I guess. So,
Dennis.
I'm in the same boat with Alex. I really like Kyoshiro's design. I hope he gets a good fight whenever it's going to be. Joey's theory that he might fight Zoro, pretty cool. I hope that happens. I also thought that the time travel stuff was like, man, what? I know that theory has been bandied about, not only on this podcast, but I think it got mentioned a couple of times on the Shonen Jump podcast too. So while not buying stock into that theory, it is neat that a bunch of listeners and stuff out there have been able to predict that. So kudos to you guys for being smarter than some of us here, like me. The poop jokes, not the biggest fan, but they did, it's kind of like, I guess, similar to fart jokes. As they kept progressing, I was finding them actually funny. I enjoyed seeing Robin again as someone who was tempted by a lot of Robin figures recently. I almost bought the one that had her wearing a kimono type outfit, but that one's a little more. This one in the manga at least is more reserved looking than the one that is currently available. It's very lewd, which I'm not the biggest fan of those.
Look at those Magumbos.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see how the time traveling thing's going to work out and how it happened. Do they have an Infinity Stone with them or something? Who knows? Though now I want to hear Kinemon go like, Shogun Orochi, I have come to bargain.
I was thinking about what Kyoshiro was saying about the 9 samurai who will return, and Luffy very clearly saying in this chapter that I need this sword back. I need this sword for now. I can't be a samurai without a sword. And thinking that, Luffy and crew, along with some others, are obviously going to play out this scenario. And whether, is it really fate? Is it really foretold? Or is it just, Luffy? I don't know.
I wondered for a second, actually, maybe it's referring to the 9 Straw Hats, but then oh no, maybe it's just 9 samurai, with swords.
Yeah.
You'd have to just figure that out.
And
because there's Brook, there's Zoro, there's Luffy with the sword, there's Kinemon, there's Kanjuro, there's Okiku, there's
room for a couple more.
Kanjuro, Raizo,
Hitetsu could be one as well.
Yeah, well, Raizo's technically a ninja.
I see Hitetsu more as that's true. But did they say? Did we determine if it's samurai or just people?
It just says 9 scabbards or whatever.
9 samurai ghosts. That's what it says here.
Samurai ghosts.
Samurai ghosts of Scooby Doo.
Samurai ghosts.
The 9 samurai ghosts of Gabba Glomp.
Okay.
God.
Anything else, Dennis, or you're good?
I'm good. What everyone else wants to say.
Steve.
Yeah, this was a fun chapter. It's the beginning of Act 2 of Wano. And where do I want to start? I'm going to miss Otama, but she'll be back. I don't see her playing a huge part in what the Straw Hats now have to deal with, so it's no big deal. It's better to take out some fluff than just have a bunch of characters standing around just providing exposition and reactions to whatever the main characters are doing. I love Okiku more and more. I like her mysteriousness. Obviously, she's involved with the Kazuki clan and probably is one of these. I would say she's one of these Akazaya 9, possibly. I mean, that's not too much of a stretch, right?
No.
Or at least one of the, one part of their band.
Yes, pathetic little band. It's Law was entertaining seeing him pull an Arrested Development Dr. Shtick with Luffy. Being very misleading. That's very poor practice for a doctor. But yeah, the whole time travel thing is very very interesting. I feel like we were asked about this weeks ago, and maybe we shot it down. We said no, there's not going to be time travel. So it'll be hilarious to listen to on retrospective. But obviously, the whole time travel thing probably plays in a huge part with Odin's wife. Possible devil fruit ability, some OP devil fruit where she could send people in time. Who knows? But
she does seem to be actually dead, though. There's no.
Odin's wife.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's dead. But like, because we talk
Probably.
about
Probably.
if we talk about this whole fire situation with all the samurai being burned to death. I'm looking back on this page now at the event from 20 years ago with Kiyoshiro talking about it. I don't think he states anywhere. 9 samurai ghosts. I honestly think this was like the moment where they were probably like propelled through time or some other shenanigans. I mean, we should take Kinemon for his word, right? These guys are from 20 years ago.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to take those words yet. And
Look, I mean, Zach, it's obvious. They're wearing flannel. They're wearing jinkos. They're wearing airwalks. Like, they're clearly from 20 years ago.
I see.
Backwards caps.
Who does that?
A disc man.
Yeah, but on the other hand, fashion is cyclical.
Cisco's Unleash the Dragon is inside of it.
Cisco, come on,
Ed.
I enjoyed this chapter quite a bit. This was very shocking, and it's very interesting to go back and be reading Dressrosa now, having seeing this with the bits about Momonosuke that are and Wano that are in there. But the bit with Luffy being him and Tama are very cute. This is sort of big brother relationship. It's very fun, and Luffy. It's interesting seeing Luffy being the hero again. Luffy Taro being a hero, not Luffy. But even still, she does point out that it was robbery, so it's still okay because he's still a pirate. But Law just can't have any of it. He's just being a very deadpan this whole chapter. I think he's very funny this chapter. Just him reacting to Luffy, and then Luffy getting to turn the tables on him at once, which was good. But Zoro's suspicious. He thinks that Okiku is hiding something. I mean, he might just be referring to the fact that she's from 20 years ago, but maybe there's something more, and that's why he got off the dog before they got to the castle, and we don't know where he is right now. I'm always looking to keep track of where Zoro is, because he usually gets lost.
Stop this crazy dog. I want to get off.
Any other points, Ed?
I'm curious to see what the two-sword style of the Shogun is, if that's indeed what that means, the two-sided. I'm very interested by that, but it's interesting, how much of that prophecy will come true, and how much of that is going to be Luffy interfering, as I said before. But I think that's what I had to say.
I mean, that's everyone, right? I mean, I can't be. Oh wait, Greg.
It's you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get comfortable.
Zach. What about you, man?
No, I want to hear Greg first.
Okay.
And then I have stuff to say too.
Hi, guy. All right.
You could tell Greg is from 20 years ago. He's making references to undergrads.
No, that's from the critic.
That's
and,
critic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still 20 years ago.
And an Old Spice ad from the 70s.
All right. First of all, I want to compliment my followers on Twitter and your followers on Twitter, because they've been very, very respectful about the events of this chapter and spoilers and timing and everything.
Yeah, surprisingly so this time.
Absolutely wonderful.
At least until Jump was released, then it's been a free for all. But what you can't contain people after that.
No.
Even after that, people have been very, very courteous. They've been excited, but they've kept things to a bare minimum. People haven't come to me asking about specific things, and just you guys, amazing. And I don't mean just my followers, but your followers as well. Everyone has just been really, really, really chill, and definitely appreciate that. And man, there's been an excitement this week. I have never had more calls to do reactions, to do a live reaction. Greg, can you do this? What are your thoughts on this? We need you, Greg, on Twitter, on Arlong Park. Greg, what do you think? And I hate to burst everyone's bubble, but when I read the chapter, my reaction was, "Oh, okay." That was literally my reaction. I think it's because of how I've taken off the limits for what I think is possible in the series. I always I always give the extreme example that anything is possible in One Piece, except for tentacle porn. That's the only thing we will never see in One Piece.
Give it time.
No matter what kind of crazy idea you have, it could possibly come true, which is why I try to be so careful with my words every time someone has a insane idea or something that's really out there, unless it's going against the core of a character.
Or theories based solely on hair color.
Or theories based solely on hair color.
Zach is salivating right now just thinking about the moon.
Steve, do you have like a camera in here or something?
Greg, not to cut you off any further, but you're giving the whole Whitebeard speech of like, Zach's theory about the moon does exist.
Where was I? So many people excited. Right. And I think it's because, and this actually, it's funny you mentioned the moon because this has to do with that. The first time those limiters came off, my expectations, where I was just like, oh, okay, really anything can go in this series, was with space. The moment we saw Ener actually go to the moon, land on the moon, and interact with possibly alien pirates on the moon, I was just like, that was the moment for me where I was just like, anything can happen in this series. To that point, I'd previously stood up for people who were like, I want to see the Straw Hats go to space. And people would savage them online. This is back in 2003 or something. I want to see One Piece in space. I want to see them go up to planets and things. There's one color spread with, not a color spread, but a color image of Luffy in an astronaut suit. And people are like, it could happen. It could happen. And people are just like, no way. You're crazy. You have no effing idea what you're talking about. You don't know what the heart of this series is. And then the moon happened. So that was, I stood up for those ideas. But when it actually happened, it was like, oh, man, anything is possible. So that's why when I got through this chapter, I was just like, okay, all right, that makes sense. Reflecting back on some of the scenes and the foreshadowing, I thought, all right, that makes sense. But let me think about it. Does it actually mean time travel? And this is where I really got to be careful, because as soon as I read the chapter, I started talking with some of the One Piece development team, and I became privy to what's coming down the line. So I need to be very careful about what I say. I will argue for and against there being time travel, because these are exactly how I felt after I finished the chapter. All right, so this is no knowledge after that. This is exactly what I felt. Okay, so for time travel, what I thought, if time travel does exist in One Piece, the only way that I can see it being realistically introduced into the series is if movement goes forward only. If you introduce the concept of going back, which I get, and this is, of course, under the assumption that it would be a devil fruit powered, if you can go back, which might be an awakening ability, maybe, but if he actually introduced that, you just, you don't want to go down that road.
Greg, can I pose I guess kind of like addendum to what you're saying? Mm-hmm. That maybe it's something like akin to cryogenic freezing, where it's not necessarily.
You guys and stealing my thunder this week, boy.
Hey, Ed and I, that's how Ed and I became the hosts. We steal Greg's thunder. Go ahead.
All right.
Like Prometheus.
So
if Prometheus.
So if it moves only forward, I accept time travel, and I don't see. I guess I don't see what the big deal is. I'm like, yeah, of course you can time travel forward in One Piece because it's One Piece, and you have devil fruits that can do crazy things.
It's like saying Fry time travel on Futurama.
Pardon?
It's like saying Fry time travel on Futurama.
How did he? I don't know.
by getting
Very sorry.
cryogenically frozen.
Oh, okay. So now against time travel, my immediately I went to, okay, he's introduced the concept of time travel. How does it become grounded in reality? How does this become something that you could conceivably perform on a character like a samurai who has very little knowledge of technology in the world, and make it seem like either magic or the fact that they have actually quote unquote time travel. And I immediately went to chapter 695, 660. Immediately thought about chapter 660, which was in Vegapunk's lab, when Nami and everybody are running through the hallways, and they run into the room of ice that's covered in the bodies. They're all encased in ice, and I thought to myself, "Ooh, I wonder if that's Vegapunk's kind of his test subjects for cryogenic freezing. If Vegapunk is involved in the revolution, if he's involved in forward movement in the world, then it only goes to assume that he would be helping someone like Oden, who is forward thinking. Do I know what the link is? Do I have some kind of connection for them? No. But my very first thought was these 5 individuals may have actually just been frozen for those 20 years. Now, this goes back to the line from Momonosuke, from Zoe, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I met Roger and all of them."
Chapter 820, page 72, 73 of volume 82. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I wrote a big article on that back in the day because I knew that was going to be a huge point. And I had a big theory around that, which was, this is not just a joke. Momonosuke probably really did meet these people. And people are, how is that possible? We've seen that Momonosuke has incredible ability with Kenbun Shoku, the colors of observation. Is he able to contact individuals who have passed on? Is he kind of like an Esper in that sense? I see this being an ability later on in the series. However, it does not seem to have manifested itself quite as I predicted here, which is where he was able to speak with people who were connected to him and his family through this when he was a child, and he somehow accessed that ability. But no, it turns out that this seems to just be suggesting that no, he actually met them that long ago, and through some means, either through actual time travel of a devil fruit forward or through cryogenic freezing, he was able to make it to modern day. The only thing I'm wondering still at this point is if everyone is or are who they say they are. Luffy's making the joke about how they have all these secrets, and I'm still going to hold out. Whatever means time travel occurred by, I still wonder if those 5 are who they say they are. And I don't mean that in a villainous way. I mean as another kind of like layer of protection for themselves. Just because they are so secretive, it would kind of, if it was revealed again, it'd be kind of funny. It's kind of like a running gag now how secretive they've been this entire time. So, that's another aspect of those 5 that I'm interested in and I want to keep tabs on. And the last thing I want to talk about is the 7 samurai as an influence on One Piece. And having talked with Oda about film and his love of film. 7 Samurai is a series that has had a major influence on the core of what One Piece is. And although I don't feel that I'm at liberty to speak about his feelings on it exactly, what his thoughts are, because he hasn't really gone into it in an interview. Um, I think that the fact that he's doing 9 here is simply to show that he can do something better, that he wants to do something better, because he loves high numbers and he loves things that bigger is better, bigger is cooler. He's the anti-Toriyama. Why did he do
swords? He's the
Pardon?
He's 4-sword style Oda.
Yes, yes, exactly. He's always cranking it to 11. So 8. What's better? 8 would be better than 7 Samurai, but what's better than 8 and 9? So I think he's going for 9. And this is another thing that I think fans are going to have as much fun, just as you guys did. It's exactly what you guys were discussing. Is, I think, precisely what Oda was going for when he introduced that concept. He wants fan discussion out there about who the 9 are going to be. Who are these 9 samurai going to be? And you guys also hit it right on the head when you were like, oh, yeah, but so-and-so is a ninja, or so-and-so is this. Yeah, we can have all the Straw Hats. You can have Jinbei in there as well. But you're only going to have 9 samurai. And then the others are going to be, you're going to have ninja, you're going to have, I don't know, throw something crazy, archers, you're going to have everything. You have karate experts, like Jinbei.
Or Speed.
Or Speed. I think his entire goal of throwing that out there was to get fans talking about it just as you guys did. And so I think in that sense, from Oda's perspective, definitely looking at you guys, mission accomplished. Loved the chapter. Definitely not over the moon about it as so many people. But I think for many new readers, this is their space moment. I think this is their moment where One Piece goes to space, where they're like, oh, wow, anything can happen in this series. And I am so happy for fans that are having that feeling for the very first time.
Thank you, Greg. I knew there was a reason we had you on. No, but really appreciate it. I would just add a couple points. Have we not made any Samurai Jack references yet? Have we gone through this whole thing?
Everyone already made them on Twitter.
And Jack's got to get back to the past. He's got to go forward.
Well, but still
always twirling
towards freedom.
I mean, that's the first thing that popped into my head, at least with that reveal. I mean, I think Steven, you know, in knowing that he was going to be absent today, said something along, Alex, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but I could pull it up if not. Just kind of saying almost what Greg just said, saying, look, we've had characters like, even, you know, beyond the moon thing, we've had characters like Sugar and Pudding with these like huge powers, but Oda acts as restrained as possible in, you know, tries not to jump the shark with that. Maybe Sugar a little more so than Pudding. But I think there's, I agree with Greg that there's just a lot of potential avenues that this could take. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's a devil fruit that has time travel, but it also could mean that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're literally, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities here. The stuff from chapter 820 is really interesting, in that Momonosuke had met Roger 20 years in the past, but how old is he supposed to be? Like 12?
A little younger than that, I think.
11? Yeah.
I totally forgot that he said that in Zoe, and it's crazy.
And Zoe, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but the current editor of One Piece said something like, oh, this arc is really going to pay off for those who were like in a lot of the Zoe mysteries will pay off here.
Yeah, it's exactly that line he was talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just like skimming through some of the early volume or mid volume 82 stuff, which is like what Greg was mentioning, the voice of all things, or not even the voice of all things, but the what's the color of observation hockey, the very strong color of observation hockey that Momonosuke has, and his ability to control Zunisha is just this. I mean, Luffy hears Zunisha, but Momonosuke is able to, you know, actually command Zunisha, which is an interesting thing as well. And he stayed on Zunisha originally to kind of hone that ability, I think, in part, correct? I think.
Where the F is Dog Storm?
So yeah, that leads to where I was going. There is where are Zunisha and Dogstorm. I made this theory at like almost the beginning of the arc. I like the idea of Zunisha somehow the entire giant elephant and Zoe making their way onto Wano in some degree at the end of this in some kind of huge thing. If not now, maybe the end of the series, but I think this is actually a pretty cool opportunity to kind of put those elements together. So yeah, but there's still a lot out there, but kind of what Greg said Oda wants us to get out of this, the asking questions, trying to piece things together. That's kind of my favorite part of One Piece anyway. And I think Oda does a pretty damn good job at putting, kind of laying the board out, but not showing where the pieces are here. I could probably come up with a better analogy than that, but also true. And I remember, Greg, when we had you on way back in Zoe for the X Marks the Spot, I'll wrap up after this point. You had mentioned that Oda is going to make I think you said something like Oda really wants to make a strong point about the open nation thing and kind of because I think that's politically
Nailed
something.
it.
Yeah. And that's, thank you, Craig. But that's something that's, I think, politically still really relevant in Japan and certainly in the United States, in that I think countries a lot of the time tend to be like, no, we don't really want to, we want to be more homogenized. We don't really want outside influencers affecting our culture. And I think I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Oda tackles that issue, because it seems to be one he really wants to tackle.
Based on everything he's written in One Piece to this point, I really don't think Oda's a right winger of any kind.
No, I'm not saying he is.
I'm saying, like, I don't know how anyone could read this and come to that conclusion.
No, but I think I don't mean to, make this super prescient, but it is, at the same time, and I'm sure it is in Japanese politics currently as well. But, I think Oda is going to, just like with the environmental messages from a few chapters ago, he's driving home kind of the isolationism is harmful to a nation more than it could be helpful.
I was also thinking about the thing from a couple of volumes ago. It was a volume or two ago, when he made a joke about the Japanese soldier who was marooned on an island after World War II and didn't know the war was over.
Well, yeah, that was...
And had to apologize for it.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, this is a guy who makes irreverent jokes about things that people might be a little bit sensitive about, especially if they're right-wingers.
Yeah, this wouldn't be the first time. Yeah.
And it's funny. There was just a half American fellow who was elected, I think, just yesterday.
Yeah,
to
Okinawa.
Okinawa, yeah. And there's just a big stink about it. Like, oh my gosh, is this going to be okay? I don't know if I'm ruining my own writings here or not. Let's see if it's out or not. Yeah, I don't think it's been released yet. Maybe it has. Anyway, I guess I can go into it. There's, it's funny you mentioned the environmental messages, because one of my articles, maybe it's up, I don't know. One of my articles goes into how he's talking about the environment, and it's the first time that Oda has gone into the environment. But what's his spin on it? He's not just ramming it down our throats. His spin on it is as it relates to food, and I did this huge write-up on food in One Piece and how it's going to be important, because the Japanese are so very proud of their food. And lo and behold, we find a chapter where like this in the previous chapter, where the Straw Hats are literally carrying food to people in order for them to be kind of seen as heroes in a local level, like local heroes. And I think you're going to see that coming through. His environmental message is going to be as it relates to the eating of food, and you're going to see that through the arc, especially in the end of the arc for his feast. It's going to be the biggest feast the series has ever seen. It's going to be massive, and it's going to be all sorts of Japanese food. He's going to have a great time drawing it. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at there. Just wanted to mention that.
I mean, I'll just say Japan has the right to be proud of their food. It's good food. So yeah, I think that's a cool take on it, because we did mention when the environmental stuff came up that it's actually for, something that is well tread often in anime, especially Miyazaki, but Oda has never kind of really went into it. So interesting to see. Okay, let's leave it there. Go on into the next segment. You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to the past, the future, the present, with your comments, questions, and theories in this week's Piece Together segment. And as always, Ed, we start or end with...
This piece.
It's confusing which direction we are going. Let's start with Bisaromi Bear-sama.
Ooh, nice.
Now,
Throwback.
Look, so I know this is a very heavy chapter this week, so we have some really, deep, thoughtful questions from our audience, as usual. So this first one, if each of the time travelers were a pizza, what kind would they be?
If who is a pizza?
If each of the time travelers. So for the sake of this, let's just say, Kinemon, Kiku, Kanjuro, Raizo, Momonosuke.
Okay.
I think Okiku would be Chicago-style pizza because she is a dish.
Oh my god.
All right, I'm done, everybody.
But how deep is she? Oh god.
Oh my god.
I should Kinemon, Foxfire, Kinemon.
Spicy sausage pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with that.
Momonosuke would be a personal pizza.
Or a pizza margarita, just like a traditional Italian style.
No. I like Steve's better. And then when you go and get one, you get a free Land Before Time puppet.
We're all out of Littlefoot.
Japanese pizza doesn't exist in Japan, so none of them are pizza. Such is my existence.
Kanjuro would be like a...
Kanjuro's would be Papa John's because it's poorly put together and does not actually represent the real thing.
Racist.
And racist.
I was just going to say pineapple pizza, but okay.
Greg, and that's not true. When I landed in Japan last time, we went straight to Sabaro. I was going to pronounce
like
it.
I said, there is no pizza in Japan.
You are right. Okay, that is true.
Zach, it's pronounced Sapporo.
I was going to say that. Okay, we're not going to beat that. Next one is a long one from Joe, who said she was listening to recent episodes at work, and at one point it was mentioned that you wanted to see a smile fruit and a zoan fruit of the same animal. Well, you're in luck because we've just been introduced to Speed with her horse smile fruit, and the user of the real zoan fruit is none other than Gonfal's bird Pierre. There's also the wolf smile user on Zoe, and Jabra was a zone user as well. On an unrelated note, she had recently played through Okami and decided to look up the actual legend involving the eight-headed dragon Orochi, who, we kind of talked about this a little bit, who for now I'm assuming is the Shogun's namesake. I won't go through the actual gist since we kind of talked about it. So now she can't stop wondering how much of the story might come into play and what kind of characters Susanoo and Kushi might be in One Piece. Maybe we've already met them, who knows, but it has me excited. And one last thing to the question a few weeks ago about Straw Hats playing board games. Not a Straw Hat, but Law would play Operation and just teleport the pieces out of the board. See, that sounds like cheating to me.
That is cheating. You got to use those tongs. Tweezers, whatever.
Salad tongs.
And
I'm gonna take out your liver bones.
Morgul also points out that there was a DVD extra of Brina Palencia, Chopper's voice actress, playing Operation, so you can check that out on it. I don't remember which DVD that's on. This one comes from Abdul, saying that he has managed to stay spoiler-free for at least 2 years now until Saturday, when a colleague of mine who almost never reaches out about the series spoiled it with 2 words: time travel. I see I'm not alone on that, as Morgul, also on this, was also spoiled similarly.
They have the same friend.
Yeah.
Maybe
They're
that's what it is. Frustrations and anger. They were saying frustrations and anger that scanlations exist and bleed into the One Piece community. No matter how hard you try to stay away aside, I loved every bit of this chapter and the arc so far, and I can't wait for the podcast. It's going to be a great manga recap, which has already happened. And I selfishly hope literally everyone is on to discuss it because I'm hurting and I need it. Maybe we should just have Steven on for like a special episode of just Steven. Anyway, we all managed to say, I think, spoiler free this time in a rare instance. Right? We were talking about that.
I don't like to tempt fate. Though when I did message Maddie this morning, and I made sure to ask, did you read the chapter before I sent some pictures of shirtless Sanji to have a discussion over. We just talked about shirtless Sanji
there. Second to last one on for the disc piece. Oji-san said, "Yay, me of 2 years ago was on the money. They did move through time." So he posts his Reddit question, which was actually about, I think, that same chapter we were talking about in Zoe. So that's pretty cool that they threw that out there. It's what Greg, it's what you said. You can't dismiss out of hand any theories that sound crazy at the time because who knows? Anyway, this is for Steven, but you know what? I'm going to give it to Greg. What went through your mind last... Well, okay, this doesn't actually work. What went through your mind last week when I asked if Momonosuke and his retainers were suspended in time for 20 years?
Okay, I'll field that.
I guess you can field it.
As Steven, all right. Yeah. Well, I think, we just got this cat and it's really cute. You know what? Instead of answer this question, I think I'm going to go post a picture of my cat. I'm sorry. That was.
Sorry.
His cat's pretty great, and I do that with my dog, so I can't.
I almost thought it was like, this question's for Steve, but blasted to Greg. So, Greg, what's it like translating One Piece every week for Weekly Shonen Jump? Please be honest.
Yeah. So there's also one other thing he has, saying the teacher indoctrinating the kids has no black horns and looks to be the first actual Zoan type user from Wano, minus Kaido, possibly Kaido and Jack, if they're from Wano. So it's so early to tell, but I'm excited to see if she's going to be sort of the sly strategizing Monet of this arc. The last disc piece comes from Grim Pyro, who says, with the appearance of the, I'm going to mispronounce this, Rokubi, the theory about yokai is starting to look plausible. Also, Kinemon mentioned that they were sent through time, but a time travel fruit seems a bit much, so he is calling some form of hibernation. I should just ask, of this group, I'll go one by one. If you had to choose one, hibernation or time travel, which, right now, you had to choose, which would it be? Dennis, which would you choose?
Well, when Greg was talking about it, I was thinking time travel and doing that kills the devil fruit user. Kind of like Law making someone immortal by dying as well.
Ed.
With talk about Vegapunk, I'd rather it be hibernation.
Steve.
Hibernation, but with Dennis's whole thing about the devil fruit user dying.
Alex.
Like in my real life or in One Piece?
In One Piece.
One Piece.
Oh, time travel.
And Greg.
Just because it ties such a lovely bow on that room in Punk Hazard, cryogenic freezing.
Yeah, I'm with that side. I didn't take a tally, but it seems like cryogenic freezing won that contest.
I mean,
so
why can't it be both? Like,
it could be.
I want to say both. Can I change my answer to both?
No, that's a cop-out.
Mind you, that's what I want it to be, not what I think it is.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will not answer that question.
Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes Greg's theories are too on the nose and end up being huge spoilers accidentally. Okay, so let's do a few emails here. I like this question from Martin. Since Dog Viper and Cat Viper, Dog Storm and Cat Viper, he wrote Dog Viper and Cat Viper. That wasn't me.
Okay.
I've made that mistake before, though, so I understand.
I was laughing at you. I wasn't laughing at him.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Since they seem to know Momonosuke as he is, does that mean they are aware of this time traveling or whatever it may be? And also, where did Momonosuke park Zoe? It is an alternate side spot, Monday and Thursdays only.
Dude, where's my Zoe?
I'll write that down.
Gotta be a big ass meter maid. Like, imagine putting out like they put a boot on Zoe, except it's like an actual boot, like one that you actually put on your foot.
Well, they have to freaking take a bongo to like the planet's core to freaking put it on.
A bongo?
Whatever the Gungan thing is called. I don't know.
No, it's called a bongo, yeah.
I forget the question. Do you think Dog Storm and Cat Viper know about this secret that is about to be revealed here from Kim?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to... Oh, I like this one. This one's from Ryan, who said, hope you're all doing well. If each of you could write an official One Piece chapter, maybe even arc, what would your chapter be about? Would it be backstory for a character, a slice of life chapter about the crew, unknown lore of the One Piece world?
Something with Zoro, probably.
I'm getting the feeling you like Zoro.
Man, that's tough right now, because...
What was the question?
If you could write a chapter of One Piece, kind of what would it, not necessarily the content, I guess, but like more what kind of chapter would you like to write?
Oh man, I would like to write more like in between arcs, what's going on elsewhere. Like I love those. I want to see more of those. So yeah, I'd write one.
Answer.
Yeah.
I'll say this, maybe just a good old fashioned fight chapter. Like Alabaster and his lobby.
Oh man.
Just give me a good old fashioned shonen. All right, you two, you're the one you're gonna fight. So
was Luffy versus Katakuri not enough for you?
I mean, that wasn't all in one chapter.
Oh.
Well, like most like the Alabasta and Ennie's lobby fights didn't take place all in one chapter, but
Fishman Island. Yeah.
Shut up. Something akin to that wasn't a fight. That was just a massacre.
Yeah.
I would like to do something with like a Roger story or something like that.
Ooh.
The old Roger story.
We're back.
Like
A Roger
that.
story.
With the egg on the ship, and why there's an egg on the ship, and what's the deal with the egg on the ship?
The gobbledygooker, Zach.
Greg, do you ever I guess it's almost like what's your favorite type of story in One Piece?
It's not my favorite type of story. My favorite type of story is definitely Alex's In Between, but just because I'm so needy of it, a 1v1 full chapter. Oh my god, I want one of those so badly. So badly.
Okay.
I'm with Steve 100%.
Well, welcome to the team.
Okay, so this next question, someone bribed me. It says, I know it's long, but if you read it, I won't bother you with this particular theory again, and I'll also donate $50 to the podcast. So, look, I'm a sellout. Right. I'll do it. So he says, hey guys, great episode last week. Haven't laughed so hard in months. A few weeks ago, I asked you guys what the chances of there being time travel in One Piece was, and all of you said it was extremely unlikely to happen. So this is the guy who said it. By the way, the name is Ori, I think. And he said, I'm sorry, we all said that was extremely unlikely to happen because it didn't fit into the One Piece canon. I guess it goes to show.
That's Zach choking on his words.
I guess it goes
to. What happens when you eat your words?
That's
too
fair.
Fast.
I guess that's fair.
Choke on them.
I guess it goes to show all of us that Oda doesn't care what we think is the canon. He'll always find a way to blow our minds. That being said, I want to share my theory about time travel in One Piece in more depth since you guys didn't read it last time. Again, $50. Basically, there's two parts. One, he thinks that the One Piece has some ability to affect time. Two, he thinks that the party we've met from Wano and the Minks are working together to instigate the dawn of the Great Pirate Era. Part of, sorry, I'm eating my words still. Part of his reason for this comes from Pedro's death repeatedly. He stated that he was risking his life to ensure that the dawn of this era came to fruition. Oh, that's interesting. Cat Viper and Dogstorm have said similar things before. Now that we have time travel confirmed, it makes me think that they're not referring to a new age that will come, but rather the dawn of the Great Pirate Era, which has already happened. This connects back to the idea of the first chapter being called Romance Dawn, as well, at this point. The first chapter takes place more than 19 years ago, and the party from Wano supposedly traveled back to a point 20 years ago. There are obviously some holes in this theory, mainly because we don't know yet how the party from Wano traveled forward in time. However, they did know Roger, and Roger found the One Piece, and if the One Piece allowed Roger to manipulate time, it would allow him to view the Void Century, which explains why the Marines are so insistent on eradicating anyone who could read the poneglyphs that can lead them to Raftel, such as O'Hara and Robin. It basically would justify the entire mission for the Marines. Anyway, he said he'll probably change this next week, but for the moment, curious about our thoughts on this. Did you all get that? I actually really like that.
Smarter than us right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. I'll just say the Pedro and the dawn of this era thing is super interesting. Because what was I don't remember the exact speech from Odin's wife from this chapter. I could pull it up right now.
I've got it up.
Okay, go for it.
You are the moon, unaware of the dawn. May your purpose be fulfilled, and cast 9 shadows on the night woven of 20 years, and you shall know the brilliance of the dawn.
And I assume this is her talking to
Rochi.
Rochi. So probably, if the dawn refers to the same dawn that Pedro was referring to, and kind of this, the Straw Hats fulfilling this legend, I think that's a super interesting theory. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on that.
In the dawn?
Dawn's early light.
Oh no, only me and Maddie got that joke. Okay, let's move on to Reddit.
The dawn. Hey everybody. We have a lot of Reddit this week, so I'm going to be truncating these as much as possible. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question.
Like this is almost a record-breaking Reddit. I think. Like
yeah,
this is a lot.
Yeah, and some of the stuff we also covered in the manga recap. So
yeah,
apologies if we didn't get to your stuff. Okay, Books is Cool says moon. Hey OPP, parenthetical moon. What are the chances that Momonosuke experiences a massive Kobe-esque age up due to the delayed effects of time travel? Looking forward to the small little pervert goblin turning into a Poochie-esque leader of Wano. Yeah, what if we get like a all of a sudden like he goes into the room of spirit and time or something like that for like a minute and then becomes like a
Team Gohan?
Yeah.
Technically not a teen, but that's what they call him in the video games.
Momonosuke kind of fits in that special age of children where it seems to be setting up post One Piece. And this is another one where I'm setting my foot in the ground and calling it now. I've talked about this in the past, but all the children that we see are probably going to be the post series, probably going to be the Boruto of the One Piece world. Yeah.
Even going back to Rika from the first.
Oh, I was going to mention Rika too.
Or also Makino's child.
Oh yeah.
Makino's child's another interesting one.
The Usopp.
Thank you. Yeah. Any kid that you can think of, really, seems to be the Fishman Island children. All of them seem primed to set out to be pirates.
The kid from Alabasta.
At the conclusion of the series. Kappa, yeah.
Bluno from the bar. Wait, no.
Yeah. And Momonosuke is, he said, Andres Rosa, I want to be the Shogun. And he's going to be the Shogun. It's going to happen. As much as Luffy's going to be Pirate King, he's going to be Shogun.
Ew,
So-
they're gonna end it like The Last Jedi with kids. I hate kids. Sorry.
Right. Pencils for Life says, "Hey OPP, wanted to ask you about the Marines and the forms of justice. I know that you guys have mentioned the possibility of a Marine civil war, and if that did go down, it would be pretty easy to determine things like Smoker, Tashigi, and Kobe, how they will fall on moral justice, and Sakazuki, Dalmatian, and Oniguma would fall on dark/absolute justice. Where do you think like Marines like Tsuru, Kizaru, Momonga, and Strawberry will fall? Also, do you guys think who do you guys think would end up leading the Marine Rebellion if a civil war happened? Personally, I hope it would be Smoker to give him more to do."
I'm curious. What do we know about Dalmatian that hints at his personality? I just found it interesting that they used Dalmatian as an example.
I mean, honestly, we know more about Momonga more than really any vice admiral.
Yeah.
Maybe Dalmatian's just loyal, like a dog.
What about Strawberry?
That's what they're asking about. They want to know.
Strawberry, I'm not convinced is that nice of a dude because he was.
What are you talking about, Steve? God.
Dude, he got the charge of killing Fisher Tiger.
He's the best. I'm sorry. There's
and
no.
He was the one like, yo, you need to watch out for Jinbei.
No, I mean I agree, Steve.
I mean, I always thought this since Alabasta that there was going to be some sort of like inner turmoil with the Navy eventually, because Smoker has always been talking about, the corruption and how he, told the Navy to get bent when he got his promotion at the end of Alabasta, the whole cover up. So.
And his conversation with Kuzan at the end of Punk Hazard, I liked a lot too. Like, and that flashback of him talking to Isho. You guys not remember that?
No.
I guess you have to get to that point in the Dressrosa reread then. But Smoker, I think, is a very interesting multi-dimensional character when it comes to the evolution of the Marines going against their superiors and thinking outside the box a little bit. You could almost be a poster child for that. And I don't know how likely a Marine civil war would fit into the story as it is now. But I definitely think that there would be sides that are going to be taken in that regard. I mean, you can't disagree with that.
But I mean, Aokiji already lost his battle, and he went to join up with Blackbeard, or at least affiliate with him. So
yeah, that's what we were led to believe, I think. So.
Okay.
What's next? Yes. How do you guys? This is Nice Guy. He says, "How do you think Hawkins will join the Straw Hats? I think it would be cool to have Luffy unite all of the worst generation. I just hope he doesn't have a crazy sad backstory." As far as Hawkins goes, he might just end up being an enemy, or at the very least, have a role similar to Capone in this arc. I would guess. I don't see him
an uneasy
frenemy.
Yeah, like that kind of a thing. Like how Luffy usually uses his charisma and whatever to get people on his side.
It'd be weird if he just ended up like Law's rival. He just doesn't like Law for whatever reason.
Because Law doesn't like bread and he loves bread, so he's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Hey, OPP. Does confirmation of time travel spoil or enhance any of your current OP theories? It's from Blasso Man.
I mean, it's always been kind of possible. I mean, realistically, what Greg said about space was right. And I mean, granted, even though space travel is real in this world, but time travel isn't. But there's really no reason why space travel would be a thing in the scientific world of One Piece currently. But apparently, there are people out in space. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you really can be surprised.
Right. Lunar Sugar says, seeing as how Momo and his retainers will likely have their backstories explored shortly, I have a question for everyone on this episode. Of all the characters with no backstories so far in the series, whose backstory do you want to see the most, and who do you feel needs no backstory? Wow, this is an awesome question.
Ooh.
That is a really good question.
Yeah.
So obviously we have to take the people already who have had backstories off the table.
Yeah.
Except maybe Zoro. I just want the Johnny Yosuku Zoro adventures.
Oh my God, Zach, I could kiss you.
There's filler episodes about that. Isn't that enough for you?
There's one.
No, I want like a spin-off series for that. Like, people ask often, like, what spin-off show would you... I would totally just, like... I feel like that would just be really enjoyable. I mean, his epithet is Pirate Hunter Zoro. I was reminded rereading Dressrosa, I'm like, who is Pirate Hunter that they keep talking about? But he hasn't actually hunted pirates through any of the series, so I feel like that would be fun.
Wow.
Yeah, sure. That'll be my choice. It's not like a serious answer, but I feel like that would be fun.
I'm trying to answer this as earnestly as I can. Do we feel like Blackbeard should have a backstory?
Well, I think he'll
That's a good
probably be
question.
getting one.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
I guess
gonna lie.
I guess it's whether he should, though. I mean, that's a good
Like-
question.
Well, should Doflamingo have had a backstory?
No.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't feel like that Doflamingo needed one, but on the other hand, Rocinante is a great character.
Well, that's more Law's
you can't have-
backstory. That's more Law's backstory. I feel like you could extract the, like, purely Doflamingo Rocinante stuff.
Well, like the
maybe?
part about his, like, when his family left. I think the part about when his family left the world of the Celestial Dragons is very important for other things. And I think you sort of get that in under the wire here.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what I felt like we didn't need to know was like Treble and Diamante and Pika like finding him as a kid and being like, "Hey, you're the master of evil. Here's a devil fruit. Go kill
Right,
those
the
people."
part about the Don Quixote family was important.
Alex, he's the champion of evil.
Whatever.
You truly are the king of kings.
Drink up, Judah Ben Flamingo.
Yeah.
Backstory do I want?
I
to
mean,
see?
obviously, I want to see this group's backstory, and I'm pretty confident we're about to get it either shortly or maybe a little bit later in the
I want more Zoro backstory. There's still been so little of it.
We just mentioned
Okay.
that. Yeah.
You know who? Do you know who I want to see? I want to see young Kureha.
Ooh, yeah. Good answer. Good answer.
Actually,
That
Young
would be
Heroes
fun.
Adventures would be cool too.
Oh, yeah, because we might get a little of that in Wano, because he was in a Sakura King, you know.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
We haven't
Good
mentioned
choice.
that before? I thought we mentioned that, yeah.
Oh,
we
Johnson
have. I
mentioned
just
that
forgot
before.
about it.
Yeah.
One up was thrown out because I just remembered Film Z. Young Sengoku, Garp, and Suru in
Oh, man.
Navy.
Yeah. What is it?
They're
The
all
Sail the Seven
roommates.
Seas.
Suru
Yeah.
and her, what were they called?
Badass old biddies.
Yeah, badass old biddies.
That's right.
I have a question tangentially related. I'm trying to think of how the timeline matches up here, but do you think we will see Hero Look in the backstories that we do get for Wano? Like, maybe in the background, or maybe not, like, prominently, but, like, in some regard, because he could have been there 20 plus years ago. That's not out of the realm of possibility, I don't think.
Okay. I could see that. We just have to keep our eyes open, really. if
Because
we're gonna-
Chopper was, 15 in part 1 of the series?
Yeah, so he was probably, how old was he when he met Hero Luke? How long ago was that?
I'm sure. I think there's a date on that.
I think he was probably, like,
however
10.
many years ago.
Yeah.
But didn't Hero Look say like 40 years ago this happened?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I mean, Hero
Like, it
Luke
would have
was
to
not
be,
young when he died.
No.
He wasn't, I mean, he obviously went too soon, and that's part of the tragedy of that story. But he
Yeah.
also was not 140 or whatever Dr. Correa is. I mean, I agree, Alex. Dr. Correa could probably fill a One Piece sized tome in her backstory. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I know we have a lot.
Yeah, we do. Negatron X Negatron X. I'm sorry. Says, "Hey OPP, what do you guys think about websites and other news outlets reporting breaking news and you won't believe and you won't believe it, but it's always about the anime and not the manga. The things they show are like a year late when it happened. Keep up the good work, yada yada. I'm loving the OPP read through. Thank you. But that's actually a super interesting question.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
We see a lot of the clickbait that I see. A lot of it, like the ones that link to our site, for example, would be like chapter 915 reveals huge secret, but it doesn't actually say what that is, and it just describes the story of One Piece generally in the actual text usually, or maybe like what the current arc is about. And I'm like,
Luffy ate a fruit that makes him stretch like rubber.
One Piece is a series about a pirate.
Ace dies in battle. What?
Oh,
Whoa,
man.
spoiler. But I mean,
Is that an actual Toei episode title?
Not exactly, but that's just sort of 1 degree more extreme than what they actually.
The thing
Ace
is,
falls into the sea.
I'm still convinced most people, I know in Japan this is almost definitely the case, but I think most people are anime fans who are One Piece fans, and I know it's crazy to think about, but I think most are. So there is an audience that is catering to. And when I say that, I mean like very casual fans, like obviously not like us here or any of you listening. Yeah, I think there's definitely that divide. So I'm sure there's a reason they're putting that kind of clickbait there, and that's because it's working. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Yolanda the Druid says, when reading the chapter, I assumed that Zoro disappeared to follow Okiku, but she returned and Zoro was nowhere to be found. It seems weird that Zoro would get lost if he was just following her, especially considering he followed Wicca without any trouble. So is this
No, there was a lot of trouble involved there.
Yeah, he had a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just read that, and he had a lot.
Well, either way, is this another gag like in Alabasta or a serious story moment like in Shabandi?
Both, probably.
Yeah, can it be both?
Like, I mean, seriously, he has serious questions about Okiku, and he isn't there to hear what her deal actually is, because he saw something interesting and he wanted to go explore it. I don't know. Yeah, he's being weird.
Yeah. All right. So we covered a little bit of this in the manga recap, but I just love this username. Bortolomeo asks, do you think the 9 people that are going to bring down Orochi could be 9 people other than the Straw Hats? Or at least some Straw Hats plus other people? I feel that thinking the number refers to the Straw Hats would be the natural assumption, but it seems weird considering other people fighting against Orochi like the Chime Travelers, Law, Carrot, and probably Jinbei and Kid later on. I feel like number 9 might be a red herring, but what do y'all think?
We kind of discussed a little bit about it, like in the manga chapter discussion.
That feels more like a filler or movie plot than actual canon, where Straw Hat's kind of taking a back seat.
Yeah, well, not even that because they need ratings. Yeah, I mentioned this on the manga recap very briefly, but I think that it will be 9 people with swords, and Luffy will be one of them. Zoro will probably be one of them. Law will probably be one of them.
And we got Kinemon and Kiku. So what are we up to? 5, 4?
And Brooks. Don't forget Brooks.
And what if you count all of Zoro's 3 swords? These 3 people.
Oh my god.
Oh, Ashura.
Yeah, that's actually... I kind of love that. What if it's just Zoro?
What is he, Naruto?
He's Naruto Lameo, Bartolomeo's father.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, what if the
Oh
9
my
red
god, that's
scabbards...
an amazing name. Sorry, it took me a second to put that together.
The 9 red scabbards are just one sword that Zoro finds. And he just isn't and he's like super Ashura. Just puts himself up in
all
9.
3 Kitetsus. Since they all have red scabbards there. Done.
Hey. Oh wait, what if everybody gets a Kitetsu?
You get a Katetsu, and you're gonna.
Oh yeah, what if it's just the Straw Hats, but they all are holding Katetsus?
Katetsu the seventh.
Katetsu.
I'm imagining just
Katetsu
the
1 through 9.
I'm imagining the Reservoir Dog scene of all of them walking, but with Katetsus. That's all I
You
got.
play Little Green Bag at the end of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. Okay. So this is a response to the Fishman Island read through. I was listening. This is 11 Orange Blue. He says, I was listening to your Fishman Island read through. I wanted to share my thoughts. I feel that despite its faults, this is one of the arcs that Oda has put his most thoughts into, at least after the time skip. Disregarding everything else, just the flashback of Fisher Tiger shows a great amount of research and effort in Oda's part. While most of us didn't like the structure of the arc, I feel that this was Oda trying to write an arc in a different manner than his usual style. For one thing, he refrains from using maps and clearly showing the structure of the island and instead reveals it as we go along. We can also see that he refers to his old style immediately after it didn't work in Fishman Island. Reverts to his old style. I guess that means structure-wise.
Yeah.
Also regarding Hody, while it did feel as a letdown, especially coming from a time skip, from a writing point of view, we can't have the heroes struggling before reaching the new world. At the same time, the villains can't be too weak, as Oda needs to show everyone's growth. So I think he came up with the energy steroids to help show how strong the strive to become. Also, Hody's story strangely felt to me to parallel the fandom and how toxic some fans have become just because of the presence of unrestricted comments under the veil of anonymity, a case of hate breeding hate. It could relate to media and how it nowadays favors negative headlines more than just to gain more clicks. Okay. Oh, he says, although it was reposting of an old read-through, I was hoping you guys could do a new Reverie segment for each arc, if possible, especially the later ones, and attach it to those old read-throughs, as we've learned so much new stuff, and some things in the read-through do feel outdated now.
Yes, I will certainly take that. So let me work these backwards. Just the last one I want to.
Yes.
So at first I was thinking, hell no, I don't have that kind of time. But then I thought, because that would also involve, I would need to reread the entire series again, and my life is slightly busier, even though Steve disagrees. But I think it is something we'd be able to do in the future that I think would probably be a cool thing to add to our Patreon page as like exclusive episodes. I don't know about you guys. But like that way there won't be, as much of a time pressure for it. We could like, read the set of volumes, at a reasonable pace versus what we did all those years ago, which was read them all in like 3 or 4 months. So I could see that coming. I don't want to put like a time to it, but I think that's a really good idea. The other problem, though, with that is that it will always be outdated, because every time you do that, you wait a year and it's outdated, and you wait another year and it's outdated. But, I don't think that's necessarily an excuse not to do that. And I'll just say one thing. The Fisher Tiger flashback particularly, I think, is one of my favorite flashbacks of the series. Being, part of an arc I don't really enjoy that much.
I think the flashback is the best part about that arc. Actually,
I think far and away.
Agreed.
It is.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I think I think that arc in general is more and more and more prescient as time goes on, which kind of goes to your final point, the final point in this question.
And I don't think it was Oda's intention to parallel fandom's toxic fandom. I think that's just a fact of life. This is just something that happens. If the internet didn't exist, it would happen some other way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. When Law said, this is from White Bear Beppo, when Law said they stole food from the farm, he could have meant the one Luffy stole or was periodically stealing from the farm, like Holden was saying. Later option doesn't make sense, because why would the Alliance be suffering from digestive problems if he stole good food? Some people that Law is Shutenmaru, but I think these are two separate people, since he has a distinguished guild name called Atamayama Bandits, and Kiku seems to know who he is. Also, okay, we already covered that part, but yeah, I think that's kind of interesting that there's somebody who is stealing from the farm, the Shutenmaru person who has come up a couple times. And I guess that, of course, with Beppo having diarrhea, debunks the fact that the theory that Law is this person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So quick password. It's he has some theories in regards to time travel. And he says that the introduction of time travel has opened up a ton of theories that would make Zach groan as much as any time someone reminds him of Professor Clover not finishing his sentence.
Oh.
Therefore, which of these two theories do you think is worse? Roger never actually died and was sent to the future to wait for the next Pirate King, or Luffy uses the time to go back in time and save Ace?
Oh. Well, we saw the last one in one of the One Piece magazines, as you might recall.
That's right.
I mean, it wasn't literally that, but it was kind of that.
Here,
it was if Sabo stepped in and saved Ace.
I'm going to answer this and not like kind of as a trolly way to make fun of Ace, but what does the story benefit from Ace being brought back to life other than the fact that you like this character? Ace's death is
he's just trying to give really bad theories here. I assume.
Moves the plot. No. I'm just trying to say, like, the death of Ace is a big story point,
well,
like,
Oda
plot point.
Oda even said that he was planning on killing him from the time he introduced him. Like that was something Oda, that was part of his character, is that you're supposed to attach yourself to this character, and Luffy is attached to this character, so that when he dies, it's really impactful, which it is.
The only justification I could think of for bringing Ace back to life would be to reform the Whitebeard Pirates. But I think the whole point of the Whitebeard Pirates is they represent an old age of piracy that is now gone. They've lost to time, and now this new wave, the worst generation, has moved in and pretty much wiped them all out. But then we still don't know the current status of the Whitebeard. Well, we know they're disbanded,
and Marco.
We don't know if some of them are dead. And because I do enjoy one of Alex's theories that some of them might be dead.
Well, we know Weevil's trying to chase them all down.
Roger being alive or being brought back to life would be interesting, but then again, that kind of goes back to what I'm saying, is he represents an old era.
But we also saw him die. It's one of the few characters that at the very beginning and at the beginning of every episode.
We didn't see him die in the manga. The anime was like, here he is getting stabbed because we can't show someone getting beheaded.
And now I have to look at the first chapter again.
we never exactly saw the moment of him being beheaded, but then again, a bunch of other people in Logtown did. So.
And by a bunch of other people, he means like almost everyone. Yeah.
It's not like we had Mr. Satan in the crowd going like, "It's a trick." Smoking mirrors.
Smoking mirrors.
Also, he was dying of a disease.
Yes.
Like in addition to that.
Mysterious anime disease. That's right.
Yeah, those are the worst.
Okay. So we have a couple more. Hey, OPP, not a question related to this week's chapter, but one I thought of a while back, and even more now that I've reread Whole Cake Island with the read-through episode coming up. I asked this question a few months back, but I think it was an off week where questions didn't get asked. I was going to ask how Big Mom rose to infamy before her kids grew up, since that is the foundation of her crew now. With the rocks reveal during the Reverie, I was wondering when everyone thinks she became independent with her kids and became the Big Mom pirates we know today. Other than Struisen, no one has really mentioned being around Big Mom from way back in the day.
That's a super good question that I don't know the answer to.
I mean, we know. She started having kids really young, right? Like Paris Sparrow's in his 50s.
Yeah, that's not think about that too much, but yeah.
Hey, I mean, that's basic math. Yeah, like I think Struisen was sort of the mastermind, wasn't he?
So to speak. I mean, like, I think at the beginning he was basically, he was
pointing her in the direction of things he wanted to destroy.
Yes, exactly. That's more or less what I was trying to say. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Now, if we couple this with the backstory question from earlier, do you guys think that we're gonna get any more backstory on Big Mom, or you think we're done with that?
She's come back into the story to talk.
Yeah, she's definitely. I think we're gonna see more.
Go to Hellbath.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna
that's
see it.
right.
I don't think we're gonna see a ton more, but I have to imagine we will.
I think we'll
Cameos,
see.
backstory cameos.
Yes. Like we'll see how she played a part in some, major happenings in the past, but I don't think we're really going to delve into her character anymore. I think we got the gist of it.
Right. Okay. Well then, one last question. But by the way, that last question was from Kyo. Thank you very much. This is our last one is for this week is from El Grosso. Will Luffy getting diarrhea will be this arc's version of Luffy getting stuck / eaten / going on a walk?
I was thinking during this chapter that when I was, when you're a young boy, fart jokes and diarrhea jokes are really funny, and I hit a point in I hit a point in my 20s where I'm like, that's stupid. Those jokes are stupid. And now I'm in my 30s and I'm like, those are hilarious jokes. I think like they almost become dad jokes at a certain point. So I'm better. My answer to this question is I am better. I like the diarrhea joke better than the stuck, eaten, or going for a walk, lines.
If only because it hasn't been done so many times.
Yeah, at least Oda can create a new reason to incapacitate Luffy for a period of time. But at the same time,
he can't really do that since Impel Down, though.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And also, Luffy Taro's much smarter than regular Luffy, so I don't think he would fall into that trap. I give him more credit.
I am Bizarro Luffy.
I'm regular Luffy.
Jinx.
All right, that's it for Reddit. So Ed, it's time to
piece the tweet.
Yeah, so it's time to piece the tweet. What do we got this week, Ed?
All right. So first, I'll go with Clinton Simpson, one who said, "Didn't y'all just spend 20 minutes saying that time travel wouldn't be a thing?"
That doesn't sound like us.
Shut up.
People are really ribbing us this week.
Yeah,
also,
look, we get stuff
you know
wrong.
what? To be fair, I wasn't on that episode, so
He also suggested that the 9 Straw Hats are the 9 samurai, but I think it goes beyond that. So, next one comes from, in this chapter, one of the Wano kids referred to Orochi as Orochi the Two-Sided while he was leading 2 rulers. Does that mean Orochi uses 2-sword style? Because later we see Momo practicing with 2 swords, and I just want to address this because that's him swinging a sword. That's not Momo with 2 swords.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just showing the motion. Right. It's a kendo stick, but yeah.
Yeah, it's
Singapore cane and other companies. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So G tweets says, "Does this mean Kaido was ruling Wano for 20 plus years? Since Kaido killed Odin 20 years ago, how much have the samurai lied about? Funny because we were introduced to Kinemon talking out of his ass."
Well, the nice thing about having the samurais lie is that Oda can just keep adding details whenever he wants.
That might be part of it. Yeah. I have a feeling this was kind of planted, though. I mean, this seems like something that Oda planned. And yeah, Kinemon did start talking literally out of his ass. I forgot about that. He's an expert farter. Wow, there's a lot of fart jokes in this series.
Yep. Yintabf says, "I have a theory that the flower capital is at the top of Wano, as the clouds seem to be level with it, and Kuri is at the bottom, as it is at sea level, meaning the Straw Hats will have to ascend Wano like reverse Impel Down." Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, next one comes from It's Aura, who says, "Do you guys think Luffy will die at the end of the series?" I feel
Ed really thinks so.
That did used to be one of my big theories. I kind of laid off of it more recently, but I still have that feeling of Luffy, like he likes to have this sort of front about being a pirate and being free, but he's very not sentimental, but he's gonna help people, and he's gonna sacrifice if he has to sacrifice for others. So that is the ultimate sacrifice, and I've often considered it. I used to talk about it more than I do now, but I don't theorize as much these days.
Maybe part of being king of the pirates means you get a disease where you only have a certain amount of time to live. I mean, that's, yeah. Because, I mean, didn't Roger get that disease, like, soon after he became king of the pirates?
I thought he
No,
found
no.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, he found it.
sick
Oh, okay.
before
He got sick
he
before.
went- yeah.
Well, scrap
Like
that
they
theory.
they were pirates, and then they weren't, and then they got the band back together when he was sick and went to Raftel. Is that right?
I think you're right.
Something like that, yeah.
We're getting the band back together.
So unfortunately, I won't be able to get to everyone's tweets this week because there's so many of them. But I will say, Super Ninja Clone did call the Samurai Jack connection as well. The next one comes from Glug Lu Raptor, who says, since both Momonosuke and Tama share the same inspiration from the Momotaro's story, do you think Tama will eventually tame Momo using her powers in order to make him not being afraid of being a dragon? I don't remember if his fruit is a smile fruit.
It is a smile fruit.
It was like the prototype.
Yeah, it was. Well, it might have been like the next level smile. There's supposed to be mystery around it, I think.
Okay. But they're also afraid of another time skip happening. I think, as Greg said, this might be next generation One Piece after the series is over.
Yeah,
New school.
Luffy's son is also named Borfy.
William D. Riker.
William D. Riker. I love it.
Next one-
And James D. Kirk.
Oh.
Okay, I get that one.
The D stands for dilithium crystal.
Laboon on the Moon says, "What?" Yes. It's
Isn't that South Park episode?
Yeah,
That's
Free-
exactly what I
Oh
thought.
my god.
Free Wilsiak.
Ha ha
Uh,
You know, that is so cruel, but it was funny. It was
so
funny.
fucking funny.
Can you draw that, Steve? Laboon on the Moon.
I will not. Also, we can't have two Laboon episode images in a row for an arc he's not even in.
I'm writing it down.
That has never stopped us before. Also, you're writing down the name of a person. Like,
I don't care. I'm writing.
you know what? If this becomes the episode title, congratulations, Laboon on the Moon. You are the first person to write in and just have an episode title based on your name.
Go ahead.
Right. He had a question. Whitebeard told Blackbeard he is not the man Roger is waiting for. Do you think Roger was sent to the future and is waiting for Luffy or someone else? No, we're pretty sure he's dead. Like we saw
Maybe
him
the
die.
execution stand is a time machine.
And I don't want to say anything anymore.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, next one comes from. I have some suggestions for future. This is from Nura G123. Who says, "Hey OPP, I have some suggestions for future rankings. One Piece video games rankings, pre-time skip filler arc ranking." And he says, "Alex, we get you don't watch filler. Funniest arcs.
Jeez. Okay.
Funniest arcs and fight rankings. P.S. When is the next arcs of consequence?"
2020 on that last one. I think I said maybe after the One Piece read through too, but I feel like it makes more sense in 2020 when like we have time to kind of digest some of
That's
the arcs.
when Wano will be ending.
Exactly. So that's a perfect timing. We'll just leave out Wano and do all the others. So
I just realized Arcs of Consequence is not as recent as I thought. That was in 2015, right?
that's why I thought 2020 was a good time. We could do it every 5 years.
Video games would be tough. There's a lot of One Piece video games, and not all of them,
are good.
are
Yeah.
good or easily accessible. But I did buy the One Piece baseball game a while back, and I really
that's
want to play it.
in my top 5, soft top 5. Like that's a great game.
I mean, I don't care if it's bad. Just there's baseball teams. They're all paired up by arcs or just organizations. They all have uniforms and cool little team sprites.
And they each have their own special swing.
And since Bon Clay was a good guy, he was put on the Alabasta team. But that just means that Mr. Nine got called up from the bench, and he's on Team Baroque Works. And
Well,
good
I
for
mean,
you-
he's
good
got
for you, Mr.
he's
Nine.
got he's got bats. Like it makes sense.
That's true. That's true.
Like that's the reason why. Like he's got a bat as a weapon.
He's got two bats.
If I could, like, I think I was absent for the episode where somebody asked about ranking the video games, but I'm just gonna give mine really quick. Grand Battle 3 is number 1, followed closely by probably Pirate Warriors 2. And then like it's sort of just a mishmash of other ones following that. I think Grand Battle 2 and Going Baseball are on that list, and like those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head that I really, really enjoyed. Oh yeah, Burning Blood. Burning Blood I think was number 2, actually. Really love that game. And then like there's a whole bunch of them that can just be lumped into like the same number of category just because they're not like super great. Yeah.
All right. Next one comes from Michael Dreyer, who's just had a theory about relating to all 9 samurais being Zoro and Asura form. But he suggested that Orochi goes into 8-headed dragon form with 8 swords, and Zoro counters with 9 swords. There's more swords. It's always better, right?
Yes, please.
All right. Next one comes from Los Hinchas para Todo Deportes. Okay. Football for you and me says, I'm from the future, and I'm here to tell you that, no, it's not going to be all right. Just kidding. It's going to be worse. I lied. I'm not from the future. But my question is, did you guys ever think time travel was a possible storyline in One Piece?
I don't know. This guy didn't have to give up the goat so quickly. I was believing him. I think it is going to get much worse.
I really did not think it. Obviously, the Zach of 2 weeks ago would be shocked that time travel happened.
Yeah. All right, next one comes from Quip Quest, who actually has a non-Wano related question. It says, do you think Big Mom is aware that Katakuri even has a Conqueror's Haki? It seems odd for a subordinate to have the aura of a leader, or perhaps this is Oda foreshadowing Katakuri's eventual captainship after Big Mom's dethronement and or death.
I don't think it's a surprise.
I mean, like someone like Rayleigh had Conqueror's Haki, did he not?
Yeah. Shanks had Conqueror's Haki. He was a subordinate before, so
That's true. But he became a captain later on. So
Yeah, also true.
So yeah, I mean, it definitely could be. Like Big Mom's headed for some kind of confrontation, so we don't really know what's going to happen with her afterwards. All right, Brian Newton, our very own Brian Newton, Dark King Zoro on Twitter says, pretty much my reaction after reading this chapter. He posts a picture of Doc Brown from Back to the Future, and he says, Wano is now the equivalent of Back to the Future Part 3. So,
We're in the Old
good.
West.
Let me tell you,
the Old East.
This
Fair.
might be a controversial opinion, but I think Back to the Future 3 is a better movie than the second one.
But neither are better than the first, so who really cares?
Well, that's also true.
Also,
Emmett! Yeah, it's Emmett, the movie.
Yeah, but
Featuring Ryan Steenburgen.
2 was the most prophetic, so...
Yeah, that's why it's not good.
Yeah.
I'd rather not watch that because
No,
I
don't think
every day.
I don't think I could watch that again. Well, I haven't watched that since 2016, and I don't think I could.
I watched it with my improv troupe like a week after the election.
Ooh.
On purpose or just because you weren't thinking?
No, we were like, hey, some of our teammates had never seen Back to the Future, so we're like, hey, let's go and watch the second one. And I hadn't seen it in a while, and yeah, boy, it's rough.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a good movie. What's next?
This is the last one's from Scandoza, who says the snake teacher is a calamity.
Scandoza.
All right, so we get through this. Gecko Moria is one of the calamities. He's the king. Headliners, and he and Dr. Hogbeck will put a strong shadow into Ace's dug-up corpse, giving them the royal flesh, which includes Taste Drake.
Okay, we're gonna leave that there. Look, I've learned this week no theory is too crazy, but wow.
Don't go burying your ace in the Indian burial ground.
Oh, you don't want to go down that road.
Okay. So that's gonna
Sometimes
do it
what you put in here doesn't come back.
for Piece Together. Let's round off.
Sure.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 539 for October 1st, 2018. Really good show today, you guys. You guys were really into this chapter. I think we had some record-breaking Piece Together this week. Before we go, I want to give a big thanks to Greg, who had to take off. thank him for coming on the show. As always, he brings some really incredible insight into the series, and he's Greg. We want him on all the time. But
Ochimusha 108 on Twitter.
Yeah, please follow him. Please follow his YouTube as well, and make sure to check out his column on the official One Piece website. It's in English also. You could read it. It's one-piece.com/special/Greg. That's how you get to it. And if you are able to get V-Jump or V-Very card, pick those up as well. Greg helps out on those. So let's go around the room. How could the good people out there contact you guys? Maddie, you're back this week. So you want to let people know where they could find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at That's Raspberry, where I post One Piece stuff all the time. And you can also find me at Patreon, patreon.com/That's where for $5 a month, you get a postcard in the mail every month.
Thank you, Maddie. I also want to give a huge thanks to Steve for stepping in while Maddie was getting her...
Yeah, he did a really, really good job.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Steve, where can people find you?
You can find me on social media like Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. It's Steve Yurko. It's all one word. Just want to plug, it's October. That means it's Inktober.
Yeah.
So I will be doing Inktober again. Yes, it's wrestling themed again. So most of you, you could turn away. But for those of you that care, you can come back. You can stay. Yeah, I'm doing the wrestling themed one again. Please follow that. I'm going to break kayfabe here a little bit. I might not be on the show for a little bit. I'm starting up some studio work again, so it might be harder for me to be on the show. So this might be the last time you hear me on a full episode for quite a while.
No.
You're breaking my heart.
Get that money.
Well, I'm sorry, but this podcast doesn't pay my rent. Only my new powers can.
Alex.
You can find me as usual on Twitter and Instagram at dude all one word. And hey, keep your eye on that there Instagram, because as Steve mentioned, it is Inktober, and yes, as per usual, I will also be doing Inktober. And for the first time ever, I'll be using the prompts, the official Inktober prompts. I never do, except for this year.
I didn't know that was a
refuse
thing.
to. Yeah. I think today's is poisonous, so we'll see what I draw.
And I'll draw my stick figures.
Interesting.
That's right. Yep.
Dennis.
And wait, but you please listen to Toho Yaro, the Japanese Film Club podcast. Tonight or tomorrow, I hope to be releasing the next episode featuring guest Grant from the Blade Licking Thieves. One Piece fans might know him as Grant the Thief on Twitter.
It's a great ska band.
Yes. But yeah, you all know Grant from his amazing One Piece thread. He's reading through it for the first time, so no spoilers on his from you to him. But please enjoy it if you haven't, and tune in to the new episode of Toho Yaro when it releases, where we will be discussing Godzilla versus Monster Zero.
Dennis.
You can find me on the Twitstagram at Itchnob, and if you happen to like old school anime, along with listening to people who are inebriated from drinking lots of wine, I do a podcast called the Vintage Anime Club Podcast. And after this episode of One Piece Podcast comes out, I'll be posting an episode about the Dirty Pair movie, Project Eden. And that one was a lot of fun.
Dennis, how much wine is too much wine?
I think the most wine we've ever had was a bottle per person.
Okay.
In one sitting, that was kind of a lot. We drank one while watching something and then 3 while recording.
Sometimes it's just more believable if you tell the truth. Ed, where could the good people out there contact us?
Zach_Logan on Twitter. I'm Edward E. One Piece. The podcast can be found at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. Support us at patreon.com/onepiecepodcast. onepiecepodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. r/onepiecepodcast is our subreddit. You can send us some piece together there. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number. Zach?
And that phone number is 347-497-MAJI.
Maji.
The number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your
Past, present, or future.
with your questions, comments, theories, or fart noises. Oh no. What have I
Don't
begun?
encourage.
What have I wrought? So before we go, we're gonna do some trivia.
Yay!
Since Ed snuck out on doing it, I heard you didn't feel like it. I've listened.
That's accurate.
Okay, so this week we have a super duper sized one.
Oh,
God.
No,
Yeah.
look, you're
This podcast could be 4 hours long.
no, I'm gonna try and stop it.
I like it. I like trivia. You guys can suck it. I love trivia.
No,
This is-
I love trivia too. I'm just making
like
a
doing
comment on
trivia.
it.
Joey
Yeah,
hates
together.
trivia.
That's true. Joey and Kelly both do like it.
And Joey hates being called out about how much he hates trivia. Okay, we love
Sorry,
you.
Joey.
We love you, Joey. Okay, so we're gonna do some trivia here. Today's category: characters in Chapter 0. We talked about a bunch about Chapter 0 and Roger potentially
yeah.
traveling through time. All you have to do are name characters who are in Chapter 0. There are a shit ton. I had to print out a page because writing it down would have taken me an immense amount of time.
Boy.
So,
Oh man, this is gonna be great, guys. I read Chapter 0 constantly.
Show up.
God damn it.
so for those who
been a
don't know how
while.
the game works,
Fun.
yes, Steve, Alex, sorry.
I just said it's fun.
Oh, I thought you said hold on. So for
never.
those who don't know how the game works, you have to name characters within a category. This week, obviously, being characters in Chapter 0. If you get it right, you stay in. If you don't get it right, you're out. And if you don't get it in time, you're out. And if you repeat an answer, which is very likely to happen in this one, you're out. Now it goes by rounds, so whoever is the last one surviving in a particular round wins. So ready to go? The
do it.
order is
All right.
going to be Steve, Alex, Ed, and Dennis. So Steve, by the way, not counting Straw Hat Pirates at all. Obviously they're not in the actual thing, but they're on the cover. So,
They are.
but
One
no,
of them
I am saying they will not count. If you say them, I will act as
So
if it is wrong.
so if I tell you that Brooke is in it, then you would not count it.
Exactly.
Well, Brooke is in it.
I know he's in it. They're all in it. I'm telling you right now, they're all in it. So don't say those. Anyway, Steve, go ahead.
Oh, I'm starting?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Roger.
Alex.
Shanks.
Ed. I mean, Dennis. Ed. Yeah, Ed is.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm not last for once, actually.
Yeah, this is.
Buggy.
Yes. Sorry, I have to move. This paper is a large piece of paper. Dennis.
Shiki.
Yeah, where the hell is he? Steve.
Rayleigh.
Yes. Alex.
Crocus.
Yes. Ed.
Who's on?
Dennis.
Crocodile.
You know, they're even labeled correctly. Wait. Borsellino. Oh no, you didn't say that. Who just,
No.
sorry, what was the admiral you named?
Me?
Kuzan.
Kuzan.
I named Kuzan.
Yeah. Dennis, who did you name?
Jeez.
Sorry. There's a lot of
I named
people.
Crocodile. Sorry, I was coughing. I named
That's okay.
Sir Crocodile.
Okay, go ahead. Steve.
I kind of want to be a dick and just say the name Zach said, but now I'm unsure if he's in there, so I'm just going to say Doflamingo.
I tricked you guys one way or the other. Okay, Alex.
Gecko Moria.
Ed.
Sengoku?
Yep. Dennis.
Monkey D. Garp.
Yep. No extra points for full names. Steve.
Mihawk?
Yes. Yeah, he had that weird haircut, didn't he?
He just had he had practically the same hair he did,
Alex.
just a little longer.
Yeah. Doflamingo had the weird haircut. Alex.
Dr. Indigo.
Wow.
Damn, that was my dark horse.
Ed.
Cut. Save him.
Oh, sh-
3 seconds.
Okay.
Name anyone.
Kuma.
No, not him. Let me just make sure. Wait. Yeah, no, Kuma's not in it. Sorry.
All right. Well,
Dennis.
Let's go with Aka Inu or Sakazuki.
Yes. Wow. Okay. So Steve, Alex, and Dennis are still in. Steve.
Elamir.
Yeah. Where the hell is she in this? How do they list her?
Check under B.
No, it's not in alphabetical order.
You should use your
she
pivot
was a
table and
marine.
sort
She
it
was a
by-
she was a marine. No, it's listed by like what type of character they are, and she was a marine at that time, so it's kind of confusing. Alex.
Jaguar D. Saul.
Yes. Dennis.
Suru.
Yes. Steve.
Hero look.
Yeah, I think he is. There he is. Alex.
Nefertari Cobra.
Yeah. What the hell? There he is. Dennis.
Strawberry.
No. Dennis is out.
Background. All right.
And it's down to the 2. Steve.
Kureha.
Yes. Alex.
Dalton.
Yes. Steve.
Duvall.
Yes. Alex.
Boa Hancock.
She was a kid in it, right? Yeah, there she is. Okay.
Yeah.
She was Kuja was listed. Okay, whatever. Steve. Three seconds.
Sandersonia.
Yes. Alex. Please don't
Marigold.
cheat. Yes. Steve. You each got a free one there from my little slip up. Steve.
And they gotta be names, right? They gotta be names.
They're like named characters.
Named characters. Trying to think who else.
3 seconds.
Damn. Come on, give me longer than that.
Say anything.
Name anybody.
Now,
For-
Steve.
Oh, my God.
You're yelling things. I'm getting scared.
Go.
Crap in a hat. Oh, no.
Alex, name it.
Tonjit?
Yes, okay, I'll give
You
it
guys
to
are
you.
going way too obscure. Already.
Yeah, you are. There's plenty of really obvious ones. Alex. Okay, and if you can't think of one, I'll give you 15 seconds for that. Steve used his lifeline.
His lifeline. Okay.
Go ahead.
Scopper Gaban.
Yes, good one. Steve. I hope you were using that time to think.
Who the hell is Scopper Goban?
He's on the Roger Pirates.
Damn.
It actually was on a
choice.
recent trivia.
Man, oh man.
3 seconds.
Name anybody.
Anybody.
Laboon.
No, I think he is in it. Where would he be, though? He's an animal. Is that a...
I don't know. He might.
There
not
he
be.
is. He is. You're right. You got him. Good save. Alex,
Let's see here.
you need to get this one right to stay in.
Understandable.
That's not a person's name.
Yes, let me see here.
I'm counting this as your lifeline.
You're counting this as my lifeline?
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
taking you a while.
Oh, okay.
Normally you would be out, just like Steve would have normally.
Wow, okay. Shit, let's
Like
see.
anyone.
Come on.
Okay, Jesus. Just give me a memento.
3 seconds.
Zeph.
Yes. Steve,
Whitebeard.
There you go.
Alex,
Oh yeah, that's right. Whoa.
3 seconds.
Okay. Wait, who did I say beforehand just a second ago?
You said Zeph.
Right. Okay.
You got
Nefertari. Nefertari Titi.
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know how you pulled that one out, Steve.
Shocky.
Yeah, I believe she is. Where the hell is she? Oh, Shakuyaku. That's her full name, right?
Right.
Yep.
Alex, you need this one to stay in. Where do they put him though? I'm like 99% sure he's here. There he is, Hachin. Steve.
God, dude, I'm at like the end
There
here.
are so many.
There are so many?
No, so many like obvious still left.
Obvious ones that aren't Straw Hats.
That aren't Straw Hats. Like big characters.
Whitebeard was the big one. I was gonna get angry if no
Whitebeard was probably the biggest. No, Whitebeard was not the biggest one left. There's still a few much like on that level.
Oh, man.
Okay, you got yeah. I'll give you 10 seconds here.
Rouge.
Yes. Alex.
Fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Borsellino. Nobody fucking even said it.
Yeah, after I said it? No.
Oh!
Yeah.
No!
Steve.
God, who would be alive for this stupid Chapter 0 story? Lucci.
Yep. Alex.
Yeah. Bluno.
Yep. Steve.
Kumadori.
Yep. Alex.
Guro.
Yep. Steve. Just laughing at him.
Nah, I don't know. I think he was too young. Kokoro?
Give me a second. Have to see it. Yeah, she here. Yeah. Alex.
Iceberg.
Yes. Steve.
Tom.
Yes. Alex.
Yokozuna.
Yes. Steve.
Frankie. Oh, wait, I can't say a straw hat. That is bullshit.
No. Alex needs to get one to win.
Oh, wait, so I have to get another one, like
You just need to get one here. No, because Steve lost, so in order to win the round, you need to get one.
Oh, okay.
Get it wrong.
If you get it wrong, we'll keep going.
Let's see here. Okay. I just said Yokozuna.
3 seconds.
All right. Kaku.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I am going to make it into a subcategory. So there are several subcategories where you guys haven't gotten a lot. Okay, so that'll be the hint. Okay, basically the subcategory. There are still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members of the then Whitebeard Pirates that were in Chapter 0. Please name them, Steve.
I already know I named one. I'm going to say Marco.
Alex?
Siege.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah,
I didn't say Blackbeard before?
I know, I don't think anyone said Blackbeard.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, that was a big one that I was like, that was a matzo ball just hanging out there. Steve?
Jozu.
Alex?
Oh, those are the big ones. Thatch?
No. Steve is our winner.
All right.
Don't I have to? Oh.
No, he doesn't. He started
You
the
went
round.
first. Yeah, you were first.
So remaining, these are.
Sorry, thank you so much, listeners, for.
Was Pone Goat in there, Steve? Zach? Pone Goat?
He's not named technically. To be fair.
Oh shit! Fuck Hannibal.
Yeah. So these were remaining. Vista, Blonheim, Harute. Those were the 3 Whitebeard pirates that you
You
had
know,
left
the
to
ones
name.
that nobody
Right, the
knows.
ones no one knows. The Marines, Kong, Bogard, Yamakaji, and Momonga
I almost
were
said
remaining.
Bogart. I thought it. Damn.
The big one that you guys should have gotten was Hattori, obviously. And Jabra were the remaining Cypher Pole.
Yeah,
Jabra.
Jabra was been there. Yeah.
See, Jabra was in my head.
Impel
Jabra-
Down.
Well, that's why I didn't
was-
say. That's why I said Kumadori over Kaku, because I think Kaku was like 23.
From
at
Impel
Water 7.
Down, you guys forgot Magellan and Hannibal.
Mhm.
I'll do miscellaneous. Monkey D. Dragon, who
Yep.
was
Oh.
very prominently featured in that too. Igaram, Whoop Slap. Come on, guys. I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. Makino,
I guess.
Dadan, Koshiro, Kuina, Yasop, Mary, the guy, not the boat. Dory, Brogi, Oimo, Kashi, Cricket. And the biggest one that you guys forgot. Oh, besides besides Seagull from the Roger Pirates, the biggest one you forgot. Steve, what do you think it is?
Hold on. It's not Ace. Ace
It
is
is.
not born.
Nope, it's Ace.
Ace
Because
is
he was
born.
a baby.
Oh, yeah, there's a time jump, right?
He was the baby.
Yeah, I was getting that confused with Duvall, and I knew since they had that crazy no way pregnancy with Rouge,
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if I should say Ace, so I
Yeah.
said Duvall.
that's okay.
Steve,
Congratulations. That was a well fought, hard fought one.
And I say this, Alex deserves something.
I'll give him half a taiyaki, and I'll give you a full taiyaki when I see you guys next.
And our
Alex gets to pick
our
the-
listeners deserve something for sitting through like
And
one-
all of our listeners get free podcasts. Anyway,
Yeah, like 10 minutes of entertainment.
yeah.
Alex gets to pick between head and tail of the
Man.
taiyaki.
That was tense. Alex, I wish you were here in person. I would shake your hand and
oh, thank you.
give you a hug, raise your arm, and be like, "This guy."
Hey, I know characters sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is good reason, Steve. We could have you just on the trivia when you're busy.
Yeah, I might just come in and be like, "All right," and this week's trivia is things said on the podcast, and I still like nail it.
We're pretty predictable. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next week with chapter 920, believe it or not, and a new anime recap pieced together and probably some trivia. So we'll see you next week, everyone. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
Name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
Goodbye, everyone.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
See you in 20 years. It's a really adorable drawing.
Gabba
because-
glomp, gabba goo.
Oh my god.
Gabba Gabba Glump.